Okay, wow. It's the 1st of December. Nako, nakakatuwa naman. Dahil ano ho, naninibago ako. Ito, may Christmas tree na nga ho ako no? Para to show you na nandito tayo sa Christmas spirit. And we think of of Tuesday, diba? Happy Tuesday tayo ngayon eh. So, we think of every time we have it the Tuesday and every day dito sa United Kingdom, dito sa ating program, no? Sa ating station, sa ating show. Ano ho eh, it's a happy day. Pero lalong masaya ho tayo dahil Christmas Day ho, no? Christmas time, it's December. Pag sinabi mo first December 1, eh ano ho ang simula ng ano eh, no? Parang the feeling nyo ng festive season, Yuletide season ho ngayon eh. And that's the reason why the government is bending backwards a bit. Para nga mapagbigyan yung mga families na magkasama-sama. Di ho ba? Kaya ayan. Well, today, masaya din, maganda rin dahil pagka Tuesday, eto ho, no? Na-tiyempo, first day of December pa. Nakasama natin yung pinakamamahal nating, alam ko, love na love nyo to. Pagka dumarating ang Tuesday, inaabangan ninyo, no? Parang kulang ang linggo ninyo pagka wala ho ito eh. So, huwag na natin patagalin, no? Ito ho'y legal advice corner ho, no? Pero syempre, ito ho'y, well, part of the Sunny Laragan show. Pero hindi ho ako ang pinaka-eksperto rito. For those who have tuned in for the first time dito sa ating station, programa, sa ating show, hindi ho ako si attorney Sunny Laragan. Hindi ho, ako ho isang hamak na, ano lang ho ako, ano ba tawag dito? Media guy, broadcaster, no? For the past siguro over 40 years na rin ho, no? Masasabi natin. At pero ang kasama ko ho ito ho, yung eksperto ho, no? Ito ho yung nagbibigay ng ngiti. Actually hindi ho ako nagbibigay ng ngiti sa inyo pag nakikita niyo ito. Ito ho ang nagdadala ng ngiti. Mga kaibigan, walang iba kundi si Attorney Dana Quinto. Attorney, magandang gabi sa iyo.
Magandang gabi, Mr. Laragan. I don't know about you, but I'm smiling. Nandito ka. You give us smiles as well. So, hindi lang ako, ikaw rin. Ikaw rin, the way, you help out and the way na you ask questions, at the way you also conduct the show, nakakatulong sa Happy Tuesday natin. It's the 1st of December. Happy December, guys. For 4 hours away from lockdown being lifted, mabubuksan na mga gates natin just in time for Christmas. So, Happy Tuesday nga. Happy Tuesday. Good evening, everyone. Magandang gabi.
Ano sabi mo? 4 hours? Apat na araw lang?
4 hours.
Apat na oras lang?
Yeah.
Okay.
4 hours. I've seen just before, because we were talking on, ano ba, bukas ba, September 3 ba? But actually, nag-clarify na sila na it's at 12:01 a.m. ililift yung lockdown.
Mamaya lang, bale. Lifted na.
4 hours away, yeah, exactly.
Okay. So it's not actually on the second. It's not actually on the second having the whole day. Kundi, diba, sabi we're gonna be having a lockdown till the second. So mamaya pa lang alas 12, ano na, bago na. No? I mean, mag-change na. We're gonna go into the tier, ano yata. Pero, may nabasa ako, attorney, na November 5 pa yata. Hindi ba?
November 5, what do you mean?
Well, I was looking at something
5,
sa November
sorry,
5, yung lockdown. I don't know. I'm looking at something here that says
November 5 pa tayo. Nag-umpisa.
I don't know. December 5. I'm sorry. December 5. I was just looking at something. Baka mali. Alam mo kasi sa dami ng mga nakikita natin.
It's definitely coming into force tomorrow.
Tama.
It's definitely coming into force tomorrow. So I think I asked somebody else as well earlier. So bukas na ata, they issued a clarification. Ang dami nagtatanong, kailan mabubuksan uli
pero alam mo,
ang sibilisasyon.
pero alam mo, hindi ko, okay, di ba, may lockdown tayo, pero parang life is normal eh. We make it a point to go to the park, lalo niya sa Hyde Park at saka sa Kensington Gardens, every Sunday. Ang daming tao.
That's good.
Yeah, parang normal lang, no? Although naka-mask lang, no? Pero syempre, kaya lang weird, no? Ikaw ba, lumalabas ka, naka-mask ka lagi?
Yes.
Because nasa work ka naman, you don't go out that much. I mean,
I don't do much. Yes, you're right about that.
Oo nga, nasa work ka. Pero pag weekends, are you mostly Sabado, Linggo? Do you go out Pagka do you still go jogging, running, attorney, on weekends?
Not
Wala
for
na?
the last, not nung medyo lumamig. So, actually lalamig pa. So, I'll be honest, I've not been very, very good during the lockdown. Life's got really, really busy. So isa din
Oh.
ako sa mga tinamad. Kumbaga, I'll put my hands up. Tinamad din talaga ako. So, hopefully, in the next few weeks, mas magiging maayos schedule as well as motivation wise, it would be good to get out there. Pero I don't know about you sa mga kababayan natin, mas mahirap talaga pag winter because it used to be nung may gym, pwede ka kasi ang lamig, di ba, sa labas. So
Oo.
it used to be, I go to the gym instead pag winter months, doon ako nag-hibernate sa gym training na, nawala yung gym nung lockdown. So, I'm not a big fan of
Naka-gym ka pala, nag-gym ka
of-
pala, attorney, no? So pagka winter time, okay lang dahil nasa gym ka? Ganun ba?
Yes, for the last few years talagang winter, yung mga ganito, November, December, January, I'd try to go pag weekdays sa gym. Weekends, yes, pag maganda weather, it's nice to go out for a run. And you have to anyway kung nagtitrain ka. But at talagang pag masama yung panahon, magdadalawang isip ka talagang
Oo, syempre,
mapasahan
ah.
ng malumig na
Ikaw ba, pagka malamig, don't you go, do you wear thermal, yung mga thermal mo, nagda-thermal ka ba o hindi na masyado?
Absolutely,
You do?
absolutely. Ewan ko, nabasa ko to. I don't know if I can remember this correctly. You add 10 degrees ata. So, if you start, kumbaga tayo, di ba, naka-coat tayo pag lalabas. Hindi naman pwede na full coat ka kapag if you're running. What would be helpful is you have layer system, so you can take it off kung biglang mainitan ka. Because when you start running, I think dumadagdag ng mga 10 degrees Celsius yung body temperature mo kung really well into your running ka na. And you really feel it talagang, kumbaga, pinapawisan ka na. I used to train my January, February, March after Christmas. At least once or yung weekends is always an outdoor run. Ang masarap nun kapag presko, it's dry. I think my problem is not with the cold. I think my problem is wet. Having English weather is probably a bit difficult. Alam mo naman dito, parati tayong inuulan. So, if it's dry and tama lang yung wind, it's really good. It's good to run. It's good to run kasi kumbaga bubuksan mo lang yung yung jacket mo. Okay na, you can regulate your temperature better. So siguro na lang din ako nitong lockdown. Busy, it's been absolutely busy. But siguro katulad ng mga kababayan natin, it would be nice to have a bit of a taste of hindi naman normal life, but somewhere very close to it as safely as possible. So I'm really looking forward. I'm really, really looking forward to the end of this particular lockdown.
Oo nga, yeah. At least back to normal na tayo, no? Attorney, no? I'm trying to look at some of the messages kaya medyo nawawala na ako na konti. Tingnan ko kung papasok tong mga pagbati. Ayan, pumasok na. Okay. Uy, by the way,
Yan.
Kahapon kasi I wasn't able to do the show kasi we had a bit of a technical thing. Meron tayong mga viewers talaga na they really message me. Ano po, ganyan. Kaya si Ma'am Cora Carsola, nako, talagang we have some friends, merong tayo si Jimmy, naglalabasan yung mga yung mga taong really concerned. Kaya pag wala ka, attorney, at hindi tayo nag-show, bibihira lang naman mangyari yon. Talagang malulungkot sila, talagang magme-message ka agad sila. Ano nangyari? Para bang may malaking problema nangyari pagka nawala tayo, no? So ayan, si Emily Rafael bumabati sa atin. Happy Tuesday, Sunny and Attorney Dana. Good evening to you both and everybody. Ayan, bumabati sa atin. Ayan, si Rudy Libroho bumabati sa atin. Happy Tuesday. Good evening, Sir Sunny, Attorney Lovely Dana. Uy, ganda na ng pangalan mo. Dagdag na, no? Lovely Dana. And all kababayans. Mabuhay from Belfast. Ayan, si Rudy Libroho, no?
Mabuhay from
Mabuhay.
Belfast.
From
Rudy, good
Belfast,
evening.
yan, no? Yung kanyang anak, si Mia, is a very good composer, no? Singer-composer, ayan. Si Rudy Libroho, ayan, no? Ayan, ayan. Pinalalaki lang natin ang kanyang mga pangalan.
Lumalaki.
Okay. Malaki ba? Rudy Libroho. Okay, sino pa ba? Yung best friend mo. Best friend natin. Ayan, bumabati.
Ayun, legally
Oo,
yours.
yung legendary
I
Laragan
love
and
that
Legally
legend.
Yours, ha? May Legally Yours with Attorney Dana Quinto. Okay. Ito si
Evening,
Virginia
Edgar.
Alona. Good evening, Sunny and Attorney Dana, and a blissful month of December. Mabuhay to your show, the Sunny Laragan Show. Ito, Legal Advice Corner po ito. Siyempre sa Sunny Laragan Show. Stay safe and greetings from Sweden.
Yes.
Uy, Sweden. Mabuhay ka.
Sweden, stay safe, Virginia. Mabuhay ka.
Ito, nanalo to kahapon.
Ay.
No,
At
Sabado.
nanalo si Edgar.
Sa Sabado, Edgar
Sabado,
Cagastian.
well done.
Enriquez, nanalo siya
Well
last,
done.
anong araw ba yun? last Saturday. Ang kanyang recipient, yung mami niya, na 80 years old ba? How old yung mami mo nga pala, Edgar? So, ayan, nanonood siya. He's an accountant. Maganda istorya niya, attorney. Yung mga, alam mo, napakarami
Yeah,
natin mga
sure yan.
accountants, working for Ernst & Young, yung mga mabibigat na mga accounting
Oh.
firms. No? Si Edgar pala, galing ng Channel Islands. Di ba? One of the tax havens
Oh,
yan.
wow, yeah.
Di ba? For companies.
Yes, that's right.
Oo. I remember, attorney, nung ako'y, alam mo itong programa ko, yung lalo na yung night jam ko dati, ako, ang dami ko nang nakausap na tao. Iba't ibang tao sa buong mundo, no? Would you believe we're holding the show dito sa London? I remember, hindi ko matanda kung Bolivia, Nicaragua, o Brazil, or yeah, ano siya, a Filipina who got married to, I don't know kung Colombian or something. Mayaman yung guy, maraming mga lupain and everything, and they donated a parcel of land or a tract of land, basta lupa, sa isang congregation ng mga nuns. And then she was inviting me, mayaman siya. Sabi, punta ka rito, Sunny. So, naalala ko lang, natutuwa lang kasi ako na when I was reviewing, I came across, ang dami ko na palang nakausap, ang dami ko na mga kwentong nadinig sa atin sa Pinoy Radio UK, no? Lalo na yung Sunny Laragan Show. We've met people who didn't know each other before, became friends because of Pinoy Radio UK. I don't know if you know about that, no? You might have heard of the name, let's say, baka hindi mo pa narinig, mga Ani Tinel, mga Flor Morante, mga kung ano-ano yan. Tapos sila Benji, ano ba to, pangalan to? Basta ganun, different countries to, they became friends. And they would come over to the UK to meet up during the Barrio Fiestas. Magaling, matutuwa ka talaga. Kaya nakakagulat na nakakatuwa yung live, yung ating kwento ng dito sa atin sa Pinoy Radio UK sa atin. We have so many listeners and viewers from different parts of Europe and of course UK, no? Kasi pagka Barrio Fiesta magugulat ka lalapit sa iyo and they will have a picture with you and then mga remote areas sa UK magugulat ka. Kaya nakakatuwa. So, yun lang, naalala ko. Kaya ko lang naalala that crossed my mind because I had a viewer sa West Indies, hindi ko alam kung basta yung mga, 'di ba, yung West yung ano yan, 'di ba? Parang tax haven yan. And yung Philippines, yung mga companies then they get accountants from the Philippines. Kasi nga mga tax havens yung mga areas na West Indies, I forgot the name kung British Virgin Islands or whatever, nakalimutan ko na. But marami tayong, may lola pa from Minnesota. Nanood sa atin si Mami Luming Hagen. Kumustahin natin one time si
Luming po,
si Mami Luming. Ang kanyang daughter si maganda kwento noon, attorney. Alam mo kung bakit? She was just a singer, dancer sa Subic Bay. She was an entertainer sa Subic Bay. 'Di ba? Syempre, di ba? Base ng mga American bases yan
American.
Oo.
Yeah, I don't know.
And somebody fell in love with her.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Somebody fell in love. Siyempre, maganda, sexy, pretty, very good singer, dancer. And she got married and then was brought to the US. I remember her. She was one of my very, very first listeners on Pinoy Radio UK. So I met a lot of friends talaga. Kaya tayo nagbago, alam mo, attorney, para sa mga taga UK, nasabi natin tuloy ka kabayan. Kasi we were noticing people from
That's
outside of the UK watching us and listening to us, I should say, no? During then,
nakakatawa.
Ngayon, kaya ka, pag
Yeah.
nagpunta ka ng mga Sweden, naku, dadagsain ka ron ng mga friends natin.
Mm.
Dahil, ay, kamukha ni Virginia Elona. Ito, I don't know kung galit ka sa
Hindi.
kanya. I think we hate her, you know why? You
Why
know
do we
why?
hate her?
Mas
Why do
mahal
we
pa
hate
yung pagpunta natin no, para
Why do we hate
magmerienda
her?
ron eh. Pagpunta sa Sweden,
Gusto
sa...
na rin ano?
Oh, merienda tayo. Oy, ikaw pumunta rito, Virginia. Ikaw talaga, oh. Anyway, sige, tuloy lang natin. Uy, ano ba to? Si Kuya Jay. Ba? Sino tong Kuya Jay? Nice conversation. Ba? Lalaki ba yan, babae? Attorney.
Kuya Jay, good evening.
Lalaki, no? Kuya Jay. Oh.
Kuya daw eh. Oo,
Oo.
kuya daw eh. So,
Gerard
yeah.
Barrientos. Ayan, sabi niya, good evening, Attorney
Good evening, Gerald.
Dana and Mr. Sunny. Yan, hi, good evening. No? Ito na. Sumagot. Kita mo, napakabilis sa mga sagot. 82 years old na is my nanay. Ayan. Oh. So, beneficiary niyan. Yung kanyang
Good
mami
evening
for,
sa nanay ni Edgar.
Oh. Abangan mo sa Sabado, makikita natin kung yung mami niya para makamusta natin. Ito, si Juliet Alviado Marcelino. Good evening, Sunny and Attorney Dana. Happy Tuesday to you both and all. Oy, magkakita mo naman, ha? Talagang and all.
Yun.
Ayan, alam mo naman
And
ito. Alam mo
all.
na
Good
kwento
evening,
nito,
Juliet.
Attorney? Alam mo ba kwento nito si Juliet?
Ang dami. Alam mo lahat ng kwento.
Hindi, kasi siya ang ano,
Ano
siya
ba
ang
kwento ni
hindi,
Juliet?
siya nag-convince sa isang friend niya na naka-base sa Paris sa France para manood ng ating Sabado Panalo. O niyaya niya, yun ang nanalo, siya hindi pa. So, oh, Juliet, we love you. Oh, mahal na mahal natin si Juliet. Okay. Well, ayan. Sige. Well, ano pag-uusapan natin, Attorney? Pag magbe-break tayo, pero anong di-discuss mo tonight? Ano ba ang ating ano? Because we were talking about custody the past weeks, no? So, anong pag-uusapan tonight? Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about last week, ba sinabi natin, yung domestic violence, yung epekto ng domestic violence sa children contact arrangement. Now, mag-jump tayo ng slightly, pero the same ang tema. Ang tema is bad behavior or conduct or inequitable conduct. Ano ba, when will it affect a financial award in divorce? Parating tinatanong sa akin to, ang asma ng ugali, or pinupok ako, or nangabit yung asawa ko. Will it have an impact sa financial award ko sa divorce? So that's what we're going to talk about. Madami yan. Kasi iba parang hindi po ako trained sa Pilipinas, but what I think ang parating, kumbaga, natatanong sa akin ng mga Pilipino, wala bang penalty dyan? Kasi parang, hindi ko alam parang sa Pilipinas, may penalty yung bigamy or may penalty yung adultery or whatever. So, they are questioning whether this same rule or the same principle applies in the UK na nagkasala yung asawa or talagang masama ang ugali. Meron ba yung epekto sa harian?
Okay. Ayan, magandang pag-usapan yan, no? Maaaring kung kayo nanonood at meron kayong idea sa Pilipinas, magugulat kayo. May pagkakaiba ho. Tama ba yun, Attorney? May pagkakaiba yan eh.
Correct.
Magugulat ka.
Correct.
Okay. Akala mo, well, anyway, pag-uusapan ho natin, no? Huwag ho kayo nga alis, mga kaibigan. Ayan, maganda yung teaser ni Attorney, ha? Kayo ba ay ganyan, no? Kung bad behavior, yan ba'y nakalalamang ba? Magiging advantage mo ba do sa parting kabila, no? Na mas maganda ang magiging bargaining position ba? Is that the way you could probably say?
Correct, yeah.
Oo,
Or
bargaining
yung award
position.
ng korte.
Pag-award ng korte.
Ay
Ayan.
mamumove dahil masama ang ugali ng
Ayan.
kabilang partido. It's
Okay.
always a question. Kasi nga, 'di ba,
Sige.
most of the time naghiwalay dahil may isang party na
May third party.
hindi,
Okay.
may third party o hindi ganun ka perfect yung ugali ng isang asawa.
No, okay,
we'll have a
medyo-
chat about that.
Okay, pag-uusapan natin ha. Ayan, maraming tatamaan dito, maraming makaka-relate dito. Kung hindi man nakaka-relate, may kakilala kayo na nakita nyo, ayan, ganyan, kwento ni ganyan yan. O yan, okay. So, wag mo kayo nga alis.
Pinapatamaan. Yun lang yung
Ayan.
naklaro na.
Basta
Walang
ito ay ano lang.
particular person na pinapatamaan. So, this is a generic advice.
Ayun, wala, generic talaga, attorney. Hindi, pero generic man, may makaka-relate, may tatamaan, may hindi tatamaan.
Relate.
Sabi nga nila, bato-bato sa langit, tamaan. Pero hindi eh. Ang purpose lang nito, you have to specify, parang kailangan may kwento, merong, may ano eh, may mga sitwasyon eh. Ay, ito na nga yung sitwasyon ng bad behavior ba?
Correct.
Yan, makaka-apekto ba sa awarding
Correct.
sa isang divorce case?
exactly.
Okay, interesting to. Kaya dyan kayo, wag ho kayo nga alis. Habang nagbe-break kayo, takbo na kagad, kumuha kayo ng snack para pagdating sa pagbalik namin, tuloy-tuloy na kayo habang nagpa-popcorn kayo. Ha? Okay, maalis, saglit po lamang.
Bakit na niluluto mo Nalakabo pa. Paborito ko yan.
Sa World Remit, naiintindihan namin ang iyong paglalakbay. Na minsan, kailangan lumayo upang makamit ang tagumpay. With ways to save more, when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them.
Mula noon hanggang ngayon, serbisyong mapagkakatiwalaan, serbisyong maaasahan pagdating sa inyong mga padalang balikbayan boxes. Dito ka na sa Forex Cargo. Sa presyong kayang-kaya ng bulsa, sigurado ka pa sa inyong padala. Forex Cargo. Dahil kailangan makarating. Call 0208-813-7064. O ano pang inaantay niyo mga kabayan? Tayo na sa Forex Cargo.
Ewan ko ba, attorney, pag ito nagpe-play, parang napapasayaw ako. Hindi ka ba parang
Ako din, favorite ko yan, yeah.
parang napapaganyan ako no? Parang very very ano ba? Parang maganda yung beat no? Oh. Yes, well. Okay, bago ka mag-discuss, attorney, naku, maraming makaka-relate sa kinukwento mo na yan, no? Yung di-discuss mo. Gusto ko lang basta lang mapagbati lang dito. Hindi lumabas sa ating kumbaga, it's, ano ba tawag? Slip through the net, gano'n ba? Lumusot
Ay,
hindi,
go ahead.
hindi nakita no? Merong showbiz na question sa'yo, attorney. Okay, ito'y galing kay Kuya Jay. Attorney Dana, are you a relative po ba ni Rufa May Quinto?
Hindi po. Hindi po.
Wala kang relation, wala ka.
Kilala ko si Rufa May. Hindi ko personally kilala, but alam ko na artista yon. Hindi po.
Hindi, walang okay. Ayan. Ito, ang mga Batangas
Hello,
Association.
Hello, Rufa May.
Si Rufa May Quinto, napakahusay niyan. Very effective na komedyante yan, si Rufa May Quinto. Very pretty,
Yes,
sexy, beautiful.
Yes,
Rufa May Quinto. So walang relation kayo, you never ever tried to find
Wala
out.
po.
May relation ba kami yan? Kamag-anak ko ba si Rufa May Quinto? Wala kang ganun, no? Attorney, no?
Wala po ata, but Rufa May, kung nanonood ka, it would be good to be related to you. So.
Okay. Rufa May Quinto, yeah. Oo. Okay, Batangas
Shout out
Association.
ka, Rufa May, kung nasan ka man.
Rufa May, sana nasa mabuti siyang kalagayan, Rufa May, Oo, nakita ko niya si Rufa May. Okay. Si pangalan to, si Roger Fortunado, said dati siyang presidente ng Batangas Association. The people from Batangas Association are watching us. Mabuhay ho kayo, no? Mabuhay kayo diyan, no? Sabi ni Roger Fortunado, gandang gabi, idol. Sunny and special. Ito kasama ko. Actually, kasama natin lagi to regular on a Tuesday si Attorney Quinto, no? Roger, no? Sabi niya, just watching. Ito, medyo social, no? Just watching while doing Zumba. Kita mo, Zumba.
Oy, wow.
He will be
Ayun.
interested in asking attorney a few questions which concerned by few of our kababayans. Ayan. Tama yan. Sige, please go ahead, Roger. Magtanong ka.
po.
Anything
Sige
goes
po.
dito kay attorney,
Yeah.
lalo na kung kunyari, let's say, utang. Alam mo, maraming properties sa Pilipinas. So baka mga utang sa kanya, pwedeng malaman natin kung paano sisingilin, anong threshold ng pwedeng isingil, no? Ganun ba yun? Tapos kung ang kapitbahay, ano ba tawag dito, yung kapitbahay mo may problema, pwedeng gawa ng paraan, masolusyonan, no? Diba? Kung lagi kang inaaway or
Yeah.
maangal-angal sa'yo, no? Para mapag-usapan. Susulatan natin ni attorney yan. Ito, sabi nga ni Edgar Duway, sabi niya, kasi kapag parang kulang ang araw pag hindi ka makatune in sa show nyo. Nakasanayan ko na ang Tuesday. Yan, pag Tuesday. Pwedeng gawing kanta yan, no?
Ayun.
Nakasanayan ang Tuesday.
Oo,
Ayan.
no?
Oo, ayan. So, ayun. Uy, sabi ni Edgar Duway, would like sama ako sa meetup with Virginia. Wag pang Sweden. Wag pang Sweden. Wala, baka hindi pa siya nakakapunta sa Sweden. Ito si Ma'am Cora Carsola. Ma'am Cora Carsola, we love you. Very concerned. One of our very, very avid friends to and viewers natin, no? Ayan. Mabuhay kayo, mabuhay ayan. Okay, so si Darmin bumabati. Bumabati sa atin si
Hi, Darmin.
ano pangalan to? Lydia at si Lydia Loner, no? Good evening po, Sir Sunny and Attorney Dana watching from Shrewsbury. Mabuhay. Norma Santiago, good evening po sa inyo, sabi niya. Teka muna, ayan, si Darmin dito, ayan, bumati itong si, ano pangalan to? Okay. Taga Pampanga daw si Rufa May. Hindi ka naman taga Pampanga, no? Ayan. Good evening si po, Sir Sunny, Attorney Dana watching from Shrewsbury, no? Ito si Edgardo
Hi.
Cagastian. Sabi niya, ayan, I've heard Rufa May is from Pampanga. Ayun, okay. All right. Hello po.
But hi, Rufa May, kung nasan ka man.
Ayan,
Hi,
si Darmin.
Hello
Ayan,
po.
si Darmin. Mabuhay. Batiin natin yung kanyang little girl, no? Si Amira.
Yes.
Cute ni Amira.
Amira.
Mabuhay ka, Amira, ha? We will love you, Amira, no? Okay, attorney. Eto na, mga kaibigan, maganda na ako kayo. Lapis at papel at lahat na papel na, no? Ako ready na ako, meron na ako rito. Ayan, ayan, nakaano na ako. I'm
Papaquiz
taking
tayo
notes.
mamaya. Papaquiz
Ano,
tayo.
attorney? Papaano?
Get one fourth. Magpapaquiz tayo. Magpapaquiz.
Magpapaquiz. Okay. Oo, okay. Parang naalala ko tuloy si Ranjit, yung ating
May trivia. Asa ba si Ranjit?
May trivia. May trivia ka ba ngayon, attorney?
Hindi, wala akong trivia. Hindi po ako ang taga.
Akala ko may quiz ka ngayon.
Hindi
Quiz
po ako
natin mamaya.
prepared
Yung
and
tungkol sa
trivia.
pag-uusapan, yung i-discuss mo. Ayun, tama. Parang teacher yan. Pag nagbigay ng lecture, humanda kayo. Afterwards, may quiz tayo.
Handa
Ayun.
ka.
Okay, dokie.
May quiz
Oh, ito
tayo.
na, mga kaibigan. Ha? Ito na. Attorney, sige. Take it away. Sige.
Yes, thank you. As per the title of today, the question na normally tinatanong sa akin whenever we talk about financial dispute resolution sa divorces is ano ba? Kailan ba makakaepekto yung bad conduct or inequitable conduct or poor behavior ng isang partido sa financial award ng korte? So, first of all, let's take a step back. I think a few episodes ago we did say may tatlong elemento. If you're about to separate, if you're about to divorce, may three elements na kailangan mong i-tackle, kailangan mong that you need to separately deal with. Unang-una is, first of all, children contact. You can deal with that by agreement, and failing agreement, you can ask the court. The second and the third is parating namimix ng mga tao. The second is purely divorce, the business of getting divorced. I've been saying this, tatlo yung kapundan, or in this instance, a sticky note. Mahilig ako sa sticky note. I don't know if you can see it, but no, probably not. So it's separate. I'll make a point na separate talaga. The business of getting divorced, kung mag-apply ka sa korte, and you're gonna put a divorce petition on the basis ng unreasonable behavior, desertion, 2-year separation, that's just divorce. So you can say kung ano yung cause ng divorce nyo, you can, kung unreasonable behavior man yan, you can list it there, and your divorce may be granted on those grounds. Separately, as I've said, put on a separate sticky note, separately, the finances are also is also, as I've said, the third element na kailangan mong i-deal with. It's a separate element, it's a separate application. You can start negotiating or use mediation. You can talk between yourselves, you can have a chat kung ano yung asset nyo, ano yung paghahatian nyo. But that is separate. Kung hindi kayo magkakaroon ng agreement, kailangan yung pumunta sa korte. You have to ask the court to make an order or make an award, a financial award in the situation. And this particular topic is about that sticky note, about finances only. So the reason I did that is because of this major principle I'm going to start with. The court is actually very, very reluctant na haluin yung cost ng divorce nyo, which most of the time is bad behavior. Someone did something wrong. Isang party, hindi may nangabet, may sometimes may controlling, may nananakit, or so on and so forth. May unreasonable behavior, may nang iwan. The court is very reluctant na i-contaminate or i-mix yan dun sa finances. Very reluctant. There are very, very rare cases. In legal terms, we call it conduct cases. There are very, very rare cases. Let's start off with that. Kasi ayaw nila, reluctant sila. Sabi, hindi naman yan we're not being asked to deal with kumbaga judgment kung naging ano sila. We're being asked to deal with the finances. Kung paano natin hahatiin yung asset ng mag-asawa na to. However, as I said, the rare cases na mangyayari yon are those cases na tinatawag namin na inequitable. The stick in your throat conduct. What does inequitable mean? Ano na ba yung inequitable na yan? Kailan ba mangyayaring magiging inequitable yan? Inequitable is, we have this term, a stick in the throat. Yung bang hindi andun, hindi mo kayang lunukin. Yung talagang andun na nakaka, yung hindi mo kayang lunukin na conduct. So severe that one, it may affect yung employability ng isang partido, and that's the reason why may link dun sa finances. So one of the rare cases is such a severe domestic violence. Yung sinaktan ng isa or dalawang beses, but this is in such a way na an expert, a psychiatric expert, was able to give evidence na itong tao na to may PTSD. Itong partido na to may PTSD and unable to work for his life or her life because of that PTSD, and that PTSD is caused by domestic violence. So kailangan may link doon according to that principle. It has to be that inequitable and that heavy. Now the court will say, actually, if we weigh natin yung conduct na to against all the circumstances, kasi hindi lang conduct yung factors na tinitingnan ng korte. Meron silang checklist. We call it Section 25 factors. We're not going to go through everything, but one of those is conduct. So, i-weigh yan. Isa yun dun sa mga weighing weights niya. Kung naalala nyo yung old-fashioned na weighing scale. So, you put yung isang libra, yung isang metal na thing. It's one of those. And bibigyan ng weight ng factor. Ito, okay, nangyari siya. Okay, I can find it na nangyari siya. But hindi siya ganun ka-severe na hindi niya maaapektuhan. Maliit lang yung weight. So, it may be that. Or, it may be na so severe, like the PTSD case, na malaki yung weight niya kasi hindi na nakapagtrabaho at hindi na makakapagtrabaho ever yung isang tao. So, that's one of the rare cases na yung conduct issue has become so severe that it moved the award of the court. Another one is attempted murder. So also, it is on its own, it's so severe, inequitable, stick in the throat conduct. Now the court has felt na, yeah, that happened kasi convicted. It's not just inalleged nga na, lasunin niya, hindi masarap yung chop suey last week. So it's not just that. It may actual prosecution na nangyari. So guilty yung isang partido, the husband was guilty of attempted murder, and the court was so moved by that fact na again yung weighing scale na nagsabi, no, the weight will be great sa pag-weigh ko ng award dito na yan, it will move the award. So that's one thing. Another, which is a bit more, ito maraming nag-argument dito because it is very, very hard to prove. And I will show you a case na, bakit ganon? Paano nangyari na sobrang sama ng ugali at may epekto sa finances pero hindi nag-move yung weighing scale. Ito yung parati naming na-encounter in practice. We call it a wanton dissipation of assets. Yung talagang winaldas yung pera. Winawala yung pera, winaldas, walang pakialam na ginastos yung pera. This particular case is quite notable because ito, sinabi ng korte, this is slightly difficult to prove kasi may mga instances, mahirap yung bad behavior sa character flaw. This is a case na a drugista, drug addict, I think it's the husband, and may cocaine habit, almost 6,000 pounds a week or a month na cocaine habit. They're obviously very well off. However, yung addictive personality niya, which is the same personality na tumulong sa kanya to generate this wealth, is quite yung addictive personality was the one that's workaholic siya, and that's the reason why he's got this whole wealth. It's the same personality na nag-cause ng ganitong habit sa kanya, this cocaine habit. The court made a distinction here na, ay, okay, nangyari yan. Then, addict nga siya, that's proven. Ito namin yung ebidensya. However, the same issue, the same na character flaw niya, the addictive personality, is the same that caused the family to be wealthier the normal, to have this enormous wealth. So in that case, hindi na move yung weighing scale. There was no movement from the weighing scale on the basis ng conduct alone. It may have moved because of other factors, but not because of conduct. So it shows na talagang mahirap talagang i-convince ang korte, because sometimes people would, eto yung sinabi nila sa case na to, you have to take this person as a whole. Hindi mo pwedeng i-cherry pick yung flaw niya, na actually, yun pala yung naging rason din dahil yumaman kayo. However, dahil yumaman kayo, yun din yung rason, however, dahil ganun siya, yun din yung rason na hindi, may mga areas sa personality niya na fraud. So that's a very interesting case in terms of conduct issues affecting financial award. Also, the court may, okay lang yan kung marami kayong paghahatian, katulad nitong sa wealthy, mayaman na nagko-cocaine pa. Paano kung maliit na nga lang yung matrimonial pat, tapos eto pa, paano yan? Paano kung merong party na masama ugali or may inequitable conduct? What do you do about that? The court may say, okay, if may finding kami na inequitable talaga, severe talaga yung conduct, we may reduce yung award nila. However, hindi namin pwedeng i-reduce to a point na meron sila na malalagay sila sa predicament ng real need. Talagang siguro poverty level na hindi naman nila pwede talagang gawin yun. So merong mga balancing na ginagawa yung korte. That's the reason why it's very, very hard to run this argument. It's not the easiest argument. It's probably the hardest to raise in matrimonial proceedings, and also it's very laborious. Marami kang ebidensya na kailangan kunin in order to prove to the court na A, nangyari nga to, and B, it's so severe. A, nangyari nga, and B, it's so inequitable, it's so severe that it should move the weighing scale. So the court is really, in effect, and you will hear this from family lawyers, and I heard this from my hearing in the past, that talagang 1 in 100 sabi ng isang judge, or it's so rare na kasi mahirap panalunan, mahirap i-prove at mahirap i-persuade yung judge because of those matters. Ang isang parating tinatanong ng Pilipino, nangabet, I think, because disclaimer, hindi po ako qualified to practice in the Philippines. I'm trained here in the UK, so I really don't know what's the law regarding adultery or bigamy sa Pilipinas. May penalty ba? May automatic penalty? Because I think may parang automatic penalty doon. Automatiko na may, kumbaga, may consequences, financial consequences ata. No, it's not like that here. As I've said, yung unang point ko, there's 2 sticky notes, yung adultery dito, unless, and it's very rare, almost never heard sa case law ata na yung adultery, and then naging so inequitable that it caused such a movement in the ward. The court is unlikely to give judgment sa'yo as a person kung hindi naman talaga, unang-una, hindi naman naapektuhan din yung employability mo or yung employability rather nung isang partido. And in this case, reluctant yung korte to punish this poor conduct. Hindi inequitable, but just poor conduct. So my straightforward answer is, kung adultery lang and that's all it is, nangabet, it's unlikely to win a conduct case. Hindi mamumove yung financial award mo dahil nangabet yung isang partido. That's it's probably a fair note to say. Now, one of the cases, sometimes one of the things na ginagamit ko, well, I would say backdoor or minsan kung naging obstructive or yun nga, may wanton dissipation, they would try to say, oh, i-add back mo yung asset kasi ginastos niya dun sa you know, winaldas lang na wala namang rason, and only the reason for that is para hindi mapunta dun sa kabilang asawa. Again, we would go to the same formula. Tingnan muna kung inequitable yung asset. Titingnan din yung needs. And if there is an ability, kung as long as hindi mo malalagay sa predicament of real need, though, mahirap pa rin talaga. Mahirap to run conduct cases. So, to sum it up, again, hindi ang financial area ng the family court is not there to punish bad behavior. Hindi nila ginagamit yung financial award to say, ay, ikaw, hindi ka perfect na husband. Ay, ikaw, hindi ka perfect na wife. You know, nagkasala ka sa marriage mo. Therefore, minus ka ng 10,000 pounds. It doesn't work like that. Case law suggests that it's very hard, very narrow. And even so, kahit may finding na hindi nga maayos yung isang tao, masama ang ugali, kahit na may finding na inequitable conduct, bibigyan pa rin siya ng weight. And that weight could be zero weight, could be a little weight, could be a lot of weight in terms of movement. So the fact na, okay, like the cocaine case, masama ugali niya. However, in this instance, we'll attach no weight at all when we do our weighing scale ng financial award. So, what I'm trying to say here is we lawyers, we try to, anyway, with us, we try to add value dun sa binabayad ng kliyente namin, and they pay hourly rate and billable hours. So with that in strategy, we would have to say na maybe pwede mo yang erase, but actually, if you're unlikely to win that point, bakit ka mag-i-invest ng legal resources mo dyan? And you don't, you have a duty we have a duty to advise in terms of what we call cost proportionality. Hindi naman yan, the court is unlikely to say that will move the weighing scale. So what we would say is be very, very prudent, be very, very vigilant on which arguments to run. Just because galit na galit ka in terms of the divorce, the cause of the divorce, the cause of the breakdown of marriage, it doesn't mean that the same issue may also be used to give you what Mr. Laragan said, a bargaining chip in the financial side. So maybe, yes, by all means, sometimes gusto lang i-air out, i-vent out. Gusto lang sabihin ng kliyente, ganito yung nangyari. Ganito yung naging cause ng breakdown ng marriage namin. And maybe the right avenue, the right area to do that is your divorce petition. And then after that, you would have to run a case na winnable, na yung investment mo in legal resources, time, effort, stress would cost proportionate as well. Kumbaga magko-cost and benefit analysis ka, hindi naman pala mananalo to bakit ka, why would you spend so much energy sa exercise na yan? As I've said, to sum it up, may issue na yung conduct ba yan is so severe, inequitable ba yan? And even if inequitable ba yan, would it move? How much weight will the court attached to it? Depende sa judge, depende kung ano yung sa tingin niya epekto nun ng conduct sa family, whether character flaw ba yan na actually may positive at negative na implication sa marriage na yan and in terms of their matrimonial assets. And finally, there's always that issue kung needs case lang, kung yung matrimonial pot is not even enough to disentangle into two households, kasi you used to be one household and now you have to fund two households. Kung ganun ang situation, the court would actually not put the other side into kumbaga poverty level, a predicament of real need, just because they want to punish that person. So just be very careful with running counter cases. As I said, you can find it, you can ask a second opinion or third opinion of family lawyers. It's very, very hard to prove.
Okay, nako, yan, nako, maganda ang ating discussion ngayon, no? But we're gonna have a short break muna, attorney. And when we come back, yung mga
Yeah,
tanong-tanong
sure.
natin, no? Plus siguro makikiusyoso tayo, makikitanong tayo dyan sa iyong diniscuss tungkol sa bad behavior,
Yeah, go on.
unreasonable behavior. Would it be able to move the, di ba? Yung
Correct.
yung money claim mo or
Yung
something, or yung
claim, yeah.
award mo, no? Okay. All right, wag ho kayong alis. Merong mga tanong dito, pero priority, well, may mga may immigration, pero okay lang yan. Pero meron ho tayong immigration na talagang corner on a Thursday. Pero siguro pwedeng pasadahan lang ni attorney, no? Okay. All right, we're gonna have a short break. Wag ho kayong aalis, no? Saglit po lamang, kami po ay magbabalik.
During these trying times, we salute the frontliners who are tirelessly caring for all of us against the COVID-19. To all the courageous nurses, doctors, carers, and paramedics at the NHS, words are not enough to thank you. We at Highlight Express International are here to support you back with a full semester 10% discount when you send your balikbayan boxes to your family in the Philippines. Dahil ang Highlight Express International ay para sa pamilya.
May problema ka ba sa landlord mo? Baka AV ka na ni Kuya. May problema sa mga kapitbahay, sa trabaho. O kaya naman kay Mister o kay Mrs. Away tungkol sa mana, mga may utang, mga aksidente, daing o laban sa ospital or sa NHS, harassment, o baka naman may stalker ka na gusto mong ireklamo. Punta na sa Divi Solicitors para matulungan ka pagdating sa mga litigations at iba pang mga legal concerns. Divi Solicitors at Mayfair House, 11 Lurk Street, Bedford, MK40 3HZ. Tumawag sa 01234-350-244 or 01234-225-188 o kaya naman mag-email sa d.quinto@dvsolicitors.com. Visit our website at www.dvsolicitors.com.
Okay, nako, lagi kong sinasabi. Ngayon, sinasabi ko pala ngayon na napapasayaw ako pag yan ang narinig ko, no? Parang Anyway, yes, by the way, mga kaibigan, no, meron tayong pangkabuhayan packages worth 200,000 pesos. Ito ho ay ibinibigay ho ng World Remit. Napakasimple lang, no? All you have to do is to make padala. At pwede na kayong magkaroon ng raffle, no? You can join the raffle. Ito, dream business for your families back home. 200,000 pesos worth ang pangkabuhayan packages. 10 ho yan, pamimigay. So that's a total of 2 million, no? Simple lang ho. Ito ho, makukuha ho ninyo ay actually it's a franchise package, no? Worth 200,000 pesos. Grain Smart franchise business. So to start with, meron ka ng sari-sari store na meron kang bigasan with 60 packs of rice. So may sari-sari store ka, may bigasan ka with 60 packs of rice to start with. Siyempre may tablet ka for the bills payments. And siyempre meron kang training session na gagawin para sa iyo. Online yan dahil ngayon napapangalan ito, pandemic eh. Simple lang, all you have to do is send money to the Philippines. Fill in the form below. Ito ho. Meron ano ho yan sa Sunny Laragan. Doon ho ninyo makikita yan. Meron ho kayong link dyan makikita. So magpadala kayo, send money to the Philippines. Fill in the form below for your chance to win And remember, there are 10 pangkabuhayan packages to be won. Yan, good luck, no? So send money to the Philippines and register and enter your details dito, no? Ayan. So win 200,000 pesos worth of Grain Smart, the pangkabuhayan package. Ito, paano ba itsura nito? Kung kayo nagpapadala, pag-click lang ho ninyo rito, ayan ho, pupunta ho yan sa Send Money to the Philippines via World Remit. So ayan, ano pa hinihintay ninyo? Magpadala na kagad at kayo ho ay masasama sa raffle. Pero mag-join in kayo doon, ha? Okidoki. Ayan, balik na tayo kay Attorney Dana Quinto, ang pinakamamahal nating abogada, no? Ayan. And happy Tuesday siyempre sa kanya, kasama natin on a Tuesday. Attorney, ayan, good evening once again sa iyo, no? Magandang gabi sa iyo. Basahin lang natin saglit
Good
yung mga
evening,
ilang...
Mr. Laragan.
Siguro pag-usapan natin muna yung pinag-uusapan natin, no. May binigay ka examples na sabi mo tatlong bagay yan, children contact. So of course yung divorce at saka finances, yung mga unreasonable behavior, bad behavior, yung mga pati nabanggit mo nga yung mga adultery, kung ano-ano pang mga ano, hindi nakaka-apekto yan sa to have a more award in terms of bargaining. Kailangan makakuha ako ng, kung 50-50 yan, i-move natin ng 45-55. Sa akin yung 55, sa yung 45. O kaya 60 sa akin, 40 sa'yo. Hindi pala po pwede yan. Pero, merong mga instances, kamukha na sinabi mo,
It's very hard. Very hard, yeah. Hindi sa hindi po pwede. Hindi
Oo.
sa hindi po pwede. What we're
Okay.
saying is very, very hard. The success rate is very, very hard. In terms of running those arguments. Kasi hindi nga, the financial side of it is not meant to be, kumbaga, morality police. Hindi sila morality police doon. They're just looking at how it may have affected, like yung successful case about domestic violence. It was so severe na may PTSD yung victim. At hindi na nagkaroon ng...
Ano yung PTSD? Muna, bago mo ituloy.
employability.
Para malaman ng mga viewers natin. Ano yung PTSD?
Post-traumatic stress disorder. So,
Post-traumatic stress
post-traumatic
disorder.
stress
Ayun.
disorder.
Okay.
Yun.
Ayan.
That it affected yung income capacity nung isang partido. So actually, the court says, if you look at, sinabi ko din na may listahan yung korte kung ano yung kailangan nilang tingnan. They call it the Section 25 factors. Parang may dito, may crossover. Kasi isa sa Section 25 factors is conduct, and isa din is income capacity. So parang sabi ng korte, double yan. Ano ba yung mga, natin yan? That's, dalawa yung na-tick box niyan. Masama na yung ugali, naka-apekto pa sa income capacity. So reason why medyo mas malaki yung chance ng conduct issue na yun, because it takes that factor of the earning future as well as current income capacity, and the conduct was so severe, stick in the throat yung kumbaga idiom namin dito, inequitable conduct. So that's the reason why. However, in normal cases, yung mga normal natin na adultery, definitely adultery napakahirap. I've not really read a case na yung adultery dito ay naging conduct case na na-move yung award nila. It's very, very hard. Domestic violence, I noted kung kailan magiging successful, but below that, it's very, very hard. If you can't prove na if you can't have a similar case, kasi what we do, kumbaga, is we use that case to say, pareho kami ng kaso na yun. Remember that, Your Honor, that case where it was successful because it may PTSD and it affected the income earning capacity. If you haven't got the same or similar facts, it will be very, very difficult to run this particular argument.
So talagang parang if nahuli mo yung asawa mong lalaki o babae na nangaliwa at yun ang naging cause ng ng divorce, it doesn't really give you an advantage in terms of the division or awarding ng yung division ng whatever yung finances ng ninyo mag-asawa, no. So dito parang hindi ba nagkaroon ka ng mga kliyente na Pilipino, hindi ba nasabi na grabe naman, parang unfair yata yan dito. sa United Kingdom.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yun ang nung parating tinatanong ng mga Filipino clients, and probably that's the reason why I chose this topic para sa mga kababayan natin. Kasi I think maraming nakakaalam kung ano man yung law sa Pilipinas, and when they come here may expectation na malaki yung impact nun. And pag sinabi ko na unfortunately hindi mo magagamit yon to bargain a bit more or to ask the court a bit more. On the face of it, kung talagang nangaliwalang fall out of love and moved on, it doesn't necessarily move. Kung puro lang na ganon, just the fact na ganon lang, it's not gonna earn you a lot of weight dun sa pag-move ng division of the matrimonial
Ayan.
finances. So, yun ang clarification ko po sa mga kababayan natin. I am sorry, I have heard Mr. Laragan feedback that it's very unfair.
Oo,
Na
marami
bakit
nagsasabi
ganun,
niyan. Oo.
you know, maraming na-frustrate dun sa explanation na yan. Unfortunately, that's the law. It's a very settled law sa UK. And I don't think it will, frankly, hindi siguro ako yung but hindi namin nakikita as legal practitioner na that will change anytime soon.
Sa Pilipinas, ano yan eh, mga criminal cases yan eh, yung mga adultery and
Yeah.
hindi bigamy, basta adultery kasi is a woman, ano ba definition na nakalimutan ko na. Nag-aral ako ng abogasyon ng 3 taon, grabe naman, no, nakalimutan ko na. Yeah, oo. So, yes, oo. Adultery is nasa criminal code yan eh. Pati yung isa yung concubinage yata, hindi yata bigamy. Concubinage ba? Bigamy. Hindi ko na matandaan eh. Nasa ano yun eh. Criminal law. Sa Pilipinas, 2 semesters yung criminal law eh. Criminal law 1, 2, ganyan. No? Anong pinag-aralan namin. Okay, may tanong lang tayo. Let's make way to some questions. So ayan, malinaw ho, maski manabunot pa kayo, sa bunutan nyo sarili nyo, untog nyo ulo nyo, hindi ho magpo-prosper na, ako'y kinaliwa, mas malaki makukuha ko doon sa aming hatian ng property, hindi ho mangyayari yan. Maski ano nang gawin mo, attorney, di ba? Walang-wala eh. Dito parang wala kasi talagang dito wala eh. Kasi alam mo ang reason daw, parang I read some more kasi nga yung mga bigamy, concubinage ganon kasi ginagawa ng mga elite nung araw eh. Kaya ginawa nilabas nila sa batas yan to make it criminal. Oo. Kaya ganon.
Yeah. Probably, yeah. Absolutely.
Ayan.
It really is ito yung tinatawag namin na non-starter, probably a non-starter argument. Hindi, lalo na yung adultery. Yun talaga yung una-una kong kina-clarify, especially with the Filipino clients na unfortunately
wala tayong makukuha, parang ganyan. Hindi may makukuha pero hindi tayo makakapag-bargain na, judge, kailangan i-award mo sa amin na mas malaki dahil wala lang hiya ako niyan eh. O, di ba? So anyway, okay. We'll read some si Darwin yata may question dito. Let's make way dito sa mahaba-haba to eh. Siguro parang galit siya sa typewriter o kaya sa kanyang laptop, no? O kaya sa cellphone niya. At naglagay siya ng hindi mo na mababasa yan, no? Basahin ko lang dito. Question lang po, baka pwedeng masagot. I know someone who was, I don't know kung ito okay lang sa'yo, no? It's within your, no? Kung merong halong criminal o okay. Sige, okay. Question lang po, baka pwedeng masagot. I know someone who was severely abused by her husband and he actually went to jail for it. So, the wife got the child. Basically, tapos na sila sa family court. Now, the husband filed another case against the wife sa criminal court naman, saying the wife abducted the child. Can the wife go to jail? Even though it's been acknowledged sa family court na abusive siya, yung lalaki siguro, kaya nga binigay ang custody sa wife and may valid reason si wife kaya umalis sila. Umalis. Siguro yun. Sabi, inabdak yung anak ko.
Umalis.
Oo. Ayan. Went to jail. So para magkasama pa rin sila. Gano'n ba yan? Tapos na sila sa family court. Now the husband filed another case. Hindi ko alam. Ano ba ito? Divorce ba ito? Divorce case ba ito? Parang nagdi-divorce sila, ganon? Ano yung family court na sinasabi niya?
Right. So I think what I'm not sure. So I'm not sure when they say basically tapos na sila sa family court. We're not sure. Remember yung three areas? We've got family. We've got children arrangement order. About the children, the arrangement sa contact. We have
Divorce?
the business of getting divorced, and then
Yeah.
the finances.
Finances.
I'm
yeah.
not sure kung ano yung sinabi ni Darmin about finances here, but I think what she's deconstruct lang natin. What Darmin is saying is may children arrangement proceedings. The wife was granted divorce. Hindi natin alam yung full facts, but the wife is granted custody or ang tinatawag namin ngayon live with order. Hindi namin inaalam kung ano yung full facts, and hindi ko alam kung bakit live with order at umalis pa sila. Perhaps hindi ko alam kung
Hiwalay na raw,
natakot sila
attorney.
to be in the same.
Hiwalay na raw, attorney.
So I'm
Hiwalay
not
na raw,
sure.
sabi
So
nila.
when it's child abduction, it may have been that she flew to another country, bumalik sa atin, and that's the reason yung child abduction cases are mostly regarding overseas na element na dinala sa country. So that's in itself is different. So you'd have to kailangan mo bigyan ng explanation, siguro yung kaibigan mo Darmin, na that's because of fear for this person. Now the question is, tatanong na ko, na ano na pala to, na, he was proven guilty. And sometimes, kakabay ng proven guilty na yan, may mga safety measures, safeguarding measures, kung ano yung mangyayari in terms of, yung pag-regulate ng contact. So, hindi sila magbibigay ng live with straight away until they've done, we touch upon this, safe review, kung ano ba ang safe, ano ba ang recommendation ng CAFCAS sa position na to in terms of domestic violence na point. So, as I noted last week, the fact na may domestic violence does not automatically mean hindi mo na makikita yung anak mo ever. So what the court would do is to find areas towards healing, towards rehabilitation, kung yun nga ang appropriate, and ways to alleviate those safety concerns using contact supervision order. So it's not very clear how the court got into the live with order, kung ano ba yung binigay na contact sa tatay, and bakit pa rin hindi enough yung after all of those processes, bakit hindi pa rin enough na takot pa rin yung nanay at lumabas pa rin sa bansa. We don't know if something had happened, na akala ng, behave na daw siya, pero after 6 months, ano pa rin, bully pa rin, or maybe that's the case. So, it's not just about going to jail. So, obviously, may mga proceedings yan. So, the situation would have to be explained to the court. Kasi meron ng before proceedings, hindi lang naman biglang lumabas ng banta yung na walang court proceedings. So, may nangyari ng criminal prosecution, and may nangyari ng children arrangement proceedings. It follows na may procedure doon. So, why are we still in this situation na hindi pa rin feeling at safe yung nanay at anak? So, those situations would have to be explained to the court if they are to answer to that child abduction allegation. So, hindi yan automatic na dahil, as you rightly noted, if may fear ng safety ang isang ang nanay at ang anak, or tatay at ang anak, obviously the court will take that into consideration. So, the fact na domestic violence lang, hindi naman din automatic yon. That would say na pwede mo nang pwede ka nang, kung meron mang dun sa children arrangement order, normally merong extra orders dyan or extra provision about taking the child abroad. So the court would say, the child cannot go abroad without for more than X days without the permission of both parents. So those situations would have to be explained to the court. How did we get here? Even after andun na yung mga procedure natin, we were so involved in this family's life why is it that we're still here, but mom had to go and escape to another country? So those would have to be explained. Hindi yan automatic. We can't imply from one guilt. Equally, hindi rin ma-imply na guilty yung mother. So there would have to be an explanation. That's my advice to your friend Darmin.
Ayan.
And
Oh,
evidence as well. Explanation
Yeah.
as well as evidence. If they are in fear of their safety, imminent safety, na hindi talaga sila makastay sa UK and they have to fly out, they would have to prove that via evidence as much as possible. So text messages, SMS messages, CCTV if they were in public places, witnesses na he was bullying her outside the house. So you go with that, and it wasn't enough. He was nice 6 months ago in order to persuade the court to give him the contact, and now na binigyan na ng contact, he's back to his old self, and he was bullying again, and we can't stand this anymore. And that's the reason why we have to leave the country, as you can see here from messenger call from his text to my to ourselves. So those are the situation. Then the court needs to know. The court needs to have an explanation.
Ayan. Ayan, Darmin, so ayan, at least meron kang pagpapaliwanag mula kay attorney, no? Okidoki. May bati lang muna rito. Yan, Galicia Panera, yan. Ito naman, kung ikaw,
Hello.
ito kaya, ano kaya relative naman niya kaya si Tina Paner, no? Dahil ikaw kasi nagtatanong kung ikaw daw ba ay kamag-anak ni Rufa May Quinto. Ito naman si Yan Galicia Panera, yan. Ikaw ba ay...
Ayan.
Yeah, good evening. Si Yan is actually from Cheltenham, no? Yun ang sabi niya, no?
Cheltenham, yeah.
Oh, yes. Anthony
More horses,
Melendez.
yan.
Ito, bago ba to? Hartlepool. Ganyan ang pronunciation na, no? Diba?
Bago.
Watching from
Yeah.
Hartlepool, Tito Sunny, Anthony
Hartlepool.
Melendres. Anthony Melendres, mabuhay, yan. Mabuhay, ha?
Sino nga ba yun? Isa, Aiko Melendres. Ayun.
Ayun, Melendres. Melendres. Aiko Melendres. Melendres, ito.
Melendres
So,
ba yun? I don't know.
so mukhang gabi
Ayun,
ito ng mga
yung
artista.
cleaner.
Oo.
Andyan na po yung cleaner namin.
Ayun, cleaner mo. Okay, andyan na ngayon. Oo. Sabi niya, Tuesday na naman. Second Tuesday na yata niya, no? Okay. Yan bang lugar mo, binawalis niya yung ilalim mo o pagkatapos mo na umalis? Minsan yata, nung last time yata, pag nakaalis na siya eh.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Kasi nauna pa yung mauwa po siya mauwa.
Oo nga.
Walang problema.
Ayan, okay. Okay, kasi napasarap tayo last week, no? At congratulations, ha? Grabe ang well, sana ay tuloy-tuloy talaga. Mahal na mahal ka ng ating mga kababayan. They really follow you, attorney, no? Okay. Meron
Salamat.
yun nga, so gabi ngayon ng mga artista, Rufa May Quinto, si Tina Paner, at saka ngayon si Aiko Melendres ba yun? Aiko Melendres.
Aiko Melendres.
Melendres ba yun?
Melendres
Melendres
ba yun?
yata. Parang Melendres. Aiko Melendres.
Aiko
Melendres. Melendres
Pwede
ba?
na, Melendres na lang.
Si Aiko,
Melendres. Pareho po, Anthony. Pareho yung ano.
Oo. I was featured in the hindi ko alam kung 1990 o 1989 newspaper Woman Today. And the cover was Aiko Melendres. Basta si Aiko. Oo, yung anak ni Jimmy Melendres ba? Melendres. Basta ganun eh. Artista yan ba si Aiko? She was very popular. Yung dad mo na yata nauna bago siya na pumasok si Aiko. Ayan. So, puro artista tayo ngayon, no? Teka muna, sabi niya, good evening, Attorney Dana at Kuya Sunny. We're watching here from Malaga, Spain. We miss you all. Uy, attorney. Matagal na natin matagal na si RG medyo nabakante. Mukha yata nagpayaman to siguro, no?
Oo nga.
Oo, dahil...
Payaman ka naman, RG.
Hindi, Malaga, Spain. Maganda rin. Tsaka malapit sa di ba? Malapit sa... Ano yung medyo mayaman na lugar rin? Parang mga mayayaman. Rich and famous yung Marbella.
Ama de Mallorca.
Marbella. I was watching sa Netflix yung yung Toy Boy. Ano yung Toy Boy? Have you heard of it?
Papanood. About what po?
It's a series. Well, it's a stripper, a male stripper
I've
based
heard
in.
of it. Yes,
Oh,
yes,
Toy
yes.
Boy yan. Ano yata pag nasa Netflix ka, you watch, for example, if you watch French films, parang ibibigay sa iyo lagi ni Netflix, puro French films. Kung nanonood ka Spanish films, puro Spanish
Okay.
films ang bibigay niya sa iyo. Anyway, sa may isang film, isang series pala, Toy Boy. Tapos gusto ko yung artista ron, si Maria, ako nakalimutan ko na yung pangalan. Yung abogada, naku, naalala kita, attorney, panoorin mo yun.
Abogada!
Oh, batang-bata yung abogada,
Yes.
na in love siya doon sa stripper, yung kanyang kliyente. The story is may male stripper nakulong na 7 years kasi na parang na-set up siya na pumatay siya ng husband ng kanyang sugar mommy, yung nag-ano sa kanya. So parang nakulong siya, parang gusto niya malaman anong dahilan, bakit siya parang frame up, because meron siyang bahay na parang boat, doon siya nakatira, na he was drugged.
Okay.
Oh, the night na bago mangyari 'yon, he was
Right.
drugged. Magkasama siya ng kanyang sugar mommy, sugar mommy ba tawag doon?
Yeah.
Okay, na umattend ng party, he was drugged, and the next time he woke up, may nasusunog, inaaresto siya, may blood sa hands niya, may patay na nasusunog sa kanyang boat. No? Anyway, in short, ganun. Tapos tong abogado, it's the top firm in Malaga, in Spain. Malaga, Spain. Top firm yata doon.
Malaga, Spain.
Batang-bata, oo.
Galing. Nakapunta na po ako. Yan.
Really? Oo, okay. Napunta mo ba yung parang castle nila? Parang castle ba yun? Yung na...
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Ano nga po ba yun?
Oh, yun. Tama. Tama.
Yun.
Parang
Abra
nandun na.
something,
Oh,
yeah.
tama na. Hindi ko na masyadong
Doon
pero...
na malapit na. Ano ba yun, RG? RG, ano nga ba yun? Yung
Oo.
castle doon, yung sa gitna ng ano nyo?
Yung castle,
Alhambra ba yun? Alhambra.
Hindi, Alhambra is in Granada. Alhambra is in
Ay, sa
Granada.
Granada pala yun. Sa
Have you been to Granada, attorney?
I forgot. But hindi pa po. Pero maganda
nice.
po.
Nice.
Have you been? Maganda po.
I've been to Granada. There's a parang castle din doon. Pero I went straight to Sierra Nevada. Kasi Sierra Nevada...
Yeah, Sierra Nevada, yeah.
Oh, Sierra Nevada is the place na may snowy part ng parang snow resort, ski resort ng Spain. And that's the place where you can ski in the morning and then go to the beach in the afternoon. Best of both worlds, di ba?
Yeah.
If you're in the Alpines, sa mga malalamig na lugar, hindi ka naman pwede mag-beach dahil malamig eh. So ayan, maganda yan. That's Andalusia. Sabagay, Andalusia din yan. Andalusian region yata yan. Arvin tuloy. Si
Yeah,
RG,
that's right.
pag i-meet natin siya, alam mo, attorney, i-meet na yata natin mga friends natin all over Europe, no? Si Virginia Elona sa Sweden.
Yes.
Si RG Minodin sa Malaga,
That's
Spain.
right, yeah.
Di ba?
Sa Malaga, yeah.
Sa
Yeah,
Malaga,
definitely.
Spain.
Definitely, RG, babalik ako sa Malaga because I go to El Choro. One of my favorite places ever sa El Choro. And baba namin is Malaga airport, and I normally do a little bit of masarap dyan ewan ko RG ko yung market nyo meron kwento ko lang kasi as you know Mr.
Sige.
Daragan mahilig ako sa pagkain.
Okay.
Yung
Hindi, tsaka
ano,
yun ang alam mo, di ba? Talagang, you can also prepare it. Really. Hindi, tsaka prepare. You prepare. You know what, it takes one to know one eh. Parang gano'n, di ba? You're a chef. So nakakaintindi ka dyan.
Yeah, eto po sa market, yung market nila sa town. So you order para meron silang kumbaga yung seafood market lang. Pero sa labas, pwede mong i-order diretso ka. Yung galing dun sa binibenta nila, yun din yung lulutuin nila very very quickly. Kumbaga parang calamari or merong tunang sarap and mura lang talaga compared dito. Sobrang mas reasonable
mura sa
yung
Spain.
price nila.
Mas mura sa Spain, attorney.
So yeah, mura sa Spain, exactly.
Oh.
No, €1
Oh.
€1 ata yung beer. Yeah, so it was so good.
Wow.
So I normally stop by Malaga before I go to El Choro. So RG, kita tayo hopefully 2021. I'm really looking forward to going to El Choro again.
We
I
made
hope
that a
to see you sa Malaga.
stopover. We just made it a stopover, stayed over the night on our way to Gibraltar. Oh, Gibraltar.
Gibraltar, yeah.
Gibraltar, di ba? So, kasi midway yun eh. We have this place in Spain, sa ba place namin sa Torrevieja sa Valencia region, and also we have to drive. We have a small may maliit na na finca. So pag naayos yung attorney, no, doon tayo sa finca. May magandang finca ron.
Yeah.
Meron ng mga oranges na wala na, sira na. Wala naman nagbabantay eh. So anyway, ayun, halfway yun going to Gibraltar. Ano ba pronounce? Gibraltar, di ba? Gibraltar yata, no? Parang yung dito yung pronunciation sa ano pangalan dito sa may kay Nelson, Nelson's column, ano yung pangalan nun? Trafalgar Square, di ba?
Trafalgar Square.
Tayo, pag bagong dating ka, Trafalgar Square, pero Trafalgar Square, so Gibraltar, parang ganun yata, no? May maganda, Spain. Saan ka nagpupunta sa Spain, attorney? Saan ka nagpupunta sa Spain, attorney?
El Choro po, El Choro.
Saan ang El Choro?
Po, it's an hour away from...
From where? From Malaga?
It's an hour away po. From Malaga, yeah. From Malaga.
So
Malapit na po siya sa Sierra Nevada.
Okay. Uy, may magandang place yan. Hindi ko masyadong napuntahan, pero may mga caves. Alam mo ba, dyan sa Spain, may mga taong nabubuhay sila sa mga caves. In fact, meron yata sa Turkey ba? May mga caves doon. Magaganda ron. Along between ano ba pa, itong lugar na to? Hindi naman Morshe. But yeah, so you go to El Choro, you go to ayan nga, sa Malaga, no? Other than these places, saan ka pa nagpupunta sa Spain? Have you been to Madrid and Barcelona?
Doon po yung parate ko. Hindi pa po.
Really?
I wanna go, but nauna yung pagpunta sa bundok.
Okay. Bundok, well, hindi ka naman mag-ski, no? Kung Sierra Nevada sana, for the skiing, no? Maganda.
Yeah, I don't ski, but I'd love to learn. I'd love to learn.
Have you? Okay, you'd love to learn. Has it ever crossed your mind? Did I tell you that the owner of this restaurant, where I celebrated my birthday a couple of years ago, ano pangalan ito? Ano yung parang sikat na hotel sa Makati? Very sikat na hotel. Nasa corner siya ng Ayala and Makati Avenue. Ayala and Makati Avenue, right across hotel. Anyway, baka maalala ko lang. Alam mo naman, medyo may senior moment siguro ako, no? Kaya ganun. Okay. Oy, good evening. Teka muna, may bumabati sino to? Si Perla de Guzman. Ang ganda naman ang pangalan nila rito. Perla,
bago
no?
ata si
Bago si Perla.
Ganda naman. Wawi de Guzman naman.
Oo.
Naalala mo si Wawi?
Yes. Wawi de Guzman. Di ba kapatid ni ano yan? Di ba kapatid ni ano ni si Wawi Cruz? Hindi, Wawi de Guzman. Sino yun? Artista ba yan, attorney?
Artista, matagal mga 90s po. I'm talking
okay.
about mga artista. Bago siguro tayo pumunta ng UK. Iba na ano mga artista ngayon sa Pilipinas. Ako hindi ko na ata masyado.
Hindi mo na maalala, no? Maris Mendez. Ayan, no? Parang mga naglalabasan ng mga ano.
Maris Mendez.
Shangri-La. Yun. So, ayun, naalala ko na. Shangri-La. May Shangri-La restaurant just sa West Avenue. Sikat na isang Chinese restaurant where I celebrated my birthday a couple of years ago. And lahat of friends and family nandun. He is nasa 70 plus na siya, si Mon, no? Yung may-ari niyan. Pero nag-ski siya. He loves skiing. Nag-ski siya, no? So parang kung siya nakakapag-ski at 70 plus, may pag-asa pa tayo siguro, attorney, no?
May pag-asa tayo. Yeah.
Rather than riding bago ka mag-ski, sasakay ka muna ng ano, di ba? Parang ano yan, parang
airlift, yeah.
Lift, ski lift, para daling ka doon sa taas, no?
Yeah.
And then from there you will have to ski down, no? So, ayan.
Yeah.
Okay. Taga Northern Ireland pala to si Perla.
Perla, welcome. Mabuhay kayo sa Northern
Yes.
Ireland. Hope you're doing well over there.
May mga sikat ng araw, pero baka hindi ka pa pinapanganak, attorney. May Perla Adea na singer at may sikat na sabon sa Pilipinas na panlaba, Perla ang pangalan.
Ay, alam ko po yung Perla. Perla na panlaba.
Yung Perla na yan, ang sinasabi nila, marami daw gumandang tao dyan sa Perla. Kasi kasi imbes na gumamit ka ng mamahalin ng mga beauty products, ang gawin mo lang pang hugas ng mukha mo, pang ano, yung perla daw, nakaka-effective daw. A lot of people have said that, no? Perla. So, Perla, mabuhay ka, no? From
Perla.
Northern Ireland.
Mabuhay ka, Perla. Mabuhay ka.
Ayan, oh. Okay. Teka pala, ba't may mga immigration dito, attorney, no? Oo. Oo. Paano kaya to? Pero di ba, sige, churba, actually ang immigration churba. Pagka Thursday. Pero sige, i-ano natin to. May tanong si...
Ano natin kung kaya natin bigyan ng, ng general guidance. Also,
General
please watch
guidance.
Attorney Lira. Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, Attorney Lira on Thursdays. Oo. Ayan, dito pagka inaway ka sa sa mga internet o pwedeng tutulungan ka ni attorney na magdemanda dahil siyempre paninirang puri at di ba? Diniscuss natin mga 3 months ago, 4 months ago, attorney. Yung something about
Yeah. Maybe we'll review it again next week, yung paninirang puri, dahil marami na naman siguro yan ngayong December, maraming mga activities and all of that. So, sige, next week, usapan uli natin.
Kasi mga fake news kasi nauuso fake news, 'di ba? Pag sasabihin nila si Edgar
Correct,
Duway
exactly.
nangangaliwa, 'di ba? Hindi naman totoo. 'Di ba?
Edgar Duway, yes.
Oo, pwede ba niyang yun? Nilagay pinost. 'Di ba? Edgar Duway nahuli namin sa Alam mo ugali ng meron ako auntie pero grand aunt ko, ang style niya sa akin nanguhuli siya eh. Sabi, oy, kasama mo si ganun. Pare, maski hindi, teka muna. Oo, alam ko yan. Di ba, you know your life, di ba? Alam mo sarili mo kung saan ka nagpunta. Pero siya, sabi, oy, nakita ka daw ni ganun, ni ganyan. So, fake news, di ba? Okay. Eto si churba, sabi niya.
Hindi siya kasama ko. Yeah.
Hindi siya kasama ko. Oo. Di ba? Sabi niya, my friend.
Iba palang babae.
Churba. Hindi naman, attorney. Churba, my friend po came here 2 years ago using spousal visa. Is there any chance they can still they can shift her spousal visa to a working... Nakikita mo, attorney? Ikaw nga, mas malinaw ang mata mo sa akin eh.
Apa. Yeah. Yeah, to working visa if marriage isn't working well. That's a bit I'll try to answer, but really ask Attorney Lira. May konting alam ako sa spouse visa. What I know is that I think hindi ko alam din ng kaibigan mo na if the marriage is broken down, talagang chine-check nila at kung wala ng marriage, it follows na hindi ka na kung
Entitled. Wala na, no?
Breakdown, hindi ka na entitled. Because you have to provide evidence na genuine and subsisting yung relationship nyo, na the same accommodation kayo, that you're living together, and that your sponsor is still endorsing yung application mo. So I understand where you're coming from na, if marriage isn't working well, is there a shift? You have to check out what you probably, in the same vein, hindi lang yun quickly, shift tayo dahil spousal working visa, automatic, may ka, you still or your friend would still have to follow yung requirements ng working visa. I haven't done working visa in a very long time. From what I can remember, generally there are may mga labor market test. I don't know if may exemption doon sa labor market test as well. So bakit may mga shortage of occupation, a lot of nurses are there, may yun ang ginamit na. Also, they would have to be offered an employment na yung income is according dun sa binibigay na prescription ng gobyerno. You'd have to have this income. So, sa madaling salita, kung ano man yung working visa, she'd still have to follow kung ano yung requirements ng working visa na yon. My gut feeling is that okay, fair enough. Probably it could switch, but I think you need to ask Attorney Lira in more particularly about the switching. But what I can say is that ibang yung requirements with working visa as the spousal visa, and in any visa or immigration situation in the UK, the fact that meron kang isang visa doesn't automatically entitle you to switch to another visa. So just your friend would have to just know that. I'm sure she would have some idea about that. So a working visa should still have to follow all of those requirements. Labor market test, if it's applicable, minimum income requirement, knowledge of English, and so forth and so on. Again, hindi to exhaustive list. Have to ask Attorney Lira, who's a specialist sa immigration.
Yeah, churba.
Just trivia lang po.
Manood ka sa Huwebes, no?
Trivia
Yan
lang
talagang,
po.
ano.
Actually,
Trivia. May trivia ka, attorney?
Trivia, I actually, the only immigration, I don't know if, yung only employment visa na ginawa ko ever, because I'm not a specialist, immigration specialist. I do a fair bit of spouse visa, but in terms of employment visa, I actually did my own employment visa. So ako yung gumawa ng sarili ko employment visa as well, certificate of sponsorship. So that's the reason why I do know a little bit about employment. But that's a very long time ago, and that's the rules may have changed now. So yeah, I applied for ako yung nag-marshal dun sa employer ko before to get a certificate of sponsorship. And also, I did my own employment visa for a few, I think, dalawang application. That's the reason why I am able to answer that. But limited lang din yung knowledge ko because hindi yun yung specialization.
May visa dati na kamukha nito si Attorney Sipat, no? Si Ronald Sipat yung kaibigan natin. At saka ito si
Nakita Ronald!
kilala mo?
Ronald po,
Oo. They availed of a visa, yung wala na ngayon daw eh. Sabi si Edgardo Cagahastian Enriquez nagkwento sa akin during the show sa Sabado Panalo. He was working as an accountant sa Channel Islands. Tapos na yung visa, tapos na yung job, tapos na yung visa, tapos na lahat. So he went over to the mainland dito and applied through nung panahon nun parang hindi naman exceptional talent or exceptional skill. Highly skilled yun. Highly skilled.
Yeah.
They were able to do that. Si Ronald Sipat, I know that for a fact, no? Ayan, wala na yun. So, ngayon siguro ang work, pinag-uusapan namin ni Attorney Lira, yung mga nasa shortage yung shortage, yun ang mga priority. Nurses, occupational, di ba?
Yeah,
mga
correct.
nasa occupational, tama, Baka hindi pumasok yung sinasabi niyo working visa. Not everybody can just sponsor a work permit, no? Not everybody. Meron kasi mga
Absolutely.
Manood ka sa Thursday.
Sponsorship require back.
Nasa final stages tayo.
Final na. So nung personal experience ko Mr. Laragan, it wasn't that it wasn't po yung sponsor. Hindi lahat pwede mag-sponsor, kumbaga. May mga requirements din yung mga employer to prove to the home office, and then you have to get the certificate of sponsorship, and may mga kumbaga meron lang silang a number of people na pwedeng kunin sa nila sa kanilang which they can get they can give working visas on there. So it's not a very simple process, and get particular legal advice from Attorney Lira. Ayun, pinlog natin si Attorney Lira.
Si Attorney sa Webes. Attorney, pasensya ka na, medyo natawa ko kasi nabasa ko kasi itong message ni Darmin. Sabi ni Darmin, Attorney, baka ma-inlove ka din sa stripper, Beautiful Dana, wag mo nang i-watch, ha. Ayun, Hindi kasi setup, Marbella, Malaga, dun sa area na yun ano pa ba yung isang magandang katabi nun na mahal din ng mga properties?
Palma de Mallorca.
Hindi, Palma de Mallorca is an island I think Palma is an island off the so
of the mainland, yeah.
Mallorca, Menorca, ganun, mga ganun, no?
Tenerife? No, that's an island.
No. It's within basta magkakatabi yan Marbella, Malaga, basta yung lugar na yon magkakatabi yon. Ayun, yung Port Banyos ba yan? Nagpunta kami rin yung parang attorney, yung di ba meron dito mga ano pangalan nito, yung mga outlets, di ba? Yung mga designer clothes na sa outlets, di ba? Oo. Meron silang port doon.
Blister Village.
Blister, yan, sa Oxford. Tama yan.
Blister,
may isang sikat din sa bandang area nito, sa may nakalimutan ko na. Basta doon sa may bandang malapit sa Manchester, sa may Cheshire Oaks.
Okay.
Yan, isa rin yan. isa rin. Pati dyan sa may Wales meron din. Pero ano ba sinasabi ko? Yun, sinasabi ko lang yung Porto Baños yata something. May parang mga designer ano doon. Pero puro naka-park doon mga bangka-bangka, mga yate-yate, no? Ng mga mayayaman, rich and famous diyan sa area na yan. Kaya ayun, Puerto Baños, ayun, tama sinasabi sa akin.
Puerto Baños, ayan. Ang dami natin natutunan, no? Ang galing din ng mga viewers.
Oo. Attorney, tingnan mo yun. Check out mo yung Toy Boy, ha? Basta lang, tingnan mo lang siguro yung, maski description lang. Nakalimutan ko yung pangalan ng babae, si Maria, yung abogado doon, abogada. It's a very, Maria, tignan natin kung ano. It's a lawyer. A lawyer yun.
Salamat sa concern. Salamat sa concern.
Ay, hindi naman ma-in-love si attorney. Hindi, sinabi kasi nung lawyer doon, but she gave it up. Kasi actually, ginamit kasi siya. Ang ginamit, may pro bono. Parang yung parang inutusan siya ng head ng kanilang company. Kunyari, sino ba yung head ng ano mo? Sino ba yung main partner nyo? Sino ang ano?
Si Mr. Ramon. Hello, Mr. Ramon. Good evening, Mr. Ramon. And Dr. Bathongo.
Si Mr. Ramon, halimbawa. Sabi ni Mr. Ramon.
Inutusan ako.
Inutusan ka, merong isang kaso sana, pero hindi, dito ka muna, Dana, hawakan mo na muna, mag-pro bono tayo para maganda image ng company natin. Ikaw na muna mag-defend dito sa stripper na to na akusahan ng ganon. Yung pala, hindi niya alam, yung kanilang firm pala, merong one of the rich families matriarka dun sa area ng, hindi ko alam kung sa kung Malaga o sa nagbabayad pala, inaanuhan yung kanyang company. But anyway, it's a long story, So ayun para kay attorney. Naalala kita, attorney, kasi batang-bata ka na napaka Oo. May criminal dito. Ano to, attorney?
Panoorin ko yan, makakaano tayo ng
Yes, so yan. Toy Boy ang pangalan, Toy Boy. Sa Netflix.
Toy Boy.
It's a Spanish film. A Spanish series pala. 13 episodes. Okay. Emilio J. Sabi niya, good evening po kay Sunny and Attorney Dana. Ano po ba ang, immigration na naman. Ano po ba ang granted immigration bail? Salamat po. Sa Webeso, si Attorney Dana
I'll be very honest.
Lira
I'll be very
Kabatbat.
honest. Si Attorney Lira, pwede ko siyang i-google ngayon. Ano ba yan? Granted Immigration Bill. Let's see kung pwede natin bigyan ng immigration bill. Bail. Okay.
Bail daw.
A grant of immigration bail. Yeah. Pwede pa rin daw i-detain.
Love na love ka Emilio ni attorney maski parang lang pero actually
Ayan,
on a Thursday yan.
Google ko lang. That's okay.
Ayan. Habang binabasa ko lang, basahin ko lang tong
specialist natin.
Sige, hanapin mo lang yung attorney. Sabi ni RG Menodin, hindi ko alam kung alam mo to. Ito yung taga Spain, taga Malaga. Sabi niya, mura po ang food sa bar mercado. I don't know kung napunta mo yung bar mercado, attorney.
That was it. Yun
yung palengke. Yun ang palengke?
Yeah, that's it. Yun po yung kinakainan ko na super na super fresh and mura, and actually kasi siya sa labas, outside seating, and you can people watch habang kumakain ka, and super fresh. It was super fresh. Feeling mo yung talagang parte ka ng local scene is very, very good. So bar mercado.
Merong attorney, nakalimutan yung pangalan sa Madrid na pag pinasok mo, maraming makakain doon, mabibili. Parang siyang nakalimutan ko na. Kasi naalala ko parang diagonally from the palace yata yun. Diagonally, so if you go to the other end, diagonally, basta pagtawid mo paakyat ng konti yun sa Madrid yun, kainan din, masarap Kaya lang ako, masama yata ako, attorney. Alam ko bakit? Masama in the sense na, di ba, some people say, if you wanna enjoy the country or, have a taste of the food, di ba, try it. Alam mo, everywhere, ever since, in my early years in Europe, I would always go to a Chinese restaurant. So, yung aking sweetheart, galit na galit. Sabi niya, ano ka ba naman? Puro na lang tayo Chinese restaurant. Ganun. Kasi pupunta kami sa Venice. Sa Venice. Alam mo yung Venice, di ba? Yung puro kanal. Oo.
Chinese restaurant.
Oo. Pupunta sa Chinese pumunta ako sa Paris. Unang beses ko sa Paris, France. Kumain din ako sa Chinese restaurant. Oh. Ganun, nakakatuwa. Natutuwa lang kasi ako sa mga...
Chinese restaurant in
Yes,
Paris.
yes, Chinese. So, hindi ka mukha mo, attorney,
Yeah.
dahil mahusay kang gumawa ng pagkain. Wala ka na bang post ngayon? Wala ka na ba? Dati, every week may post ka eh. Wala na muna ngayon. Medyo napahinga ka ba?
Na-busy talaga kasi
Oo.
even weekends we were working on a project. So yung dati na yung weekend nung first lockdown yun yung naging hobby ko. Medyo nakuha yung panahon nitong other project namin. So maybe sa New Year mag-aano tayo na-inspire mo ako. So maybe sa New Year we'll do more.
Oo
things.
nga, yung
So,
pagkain. Hindi,
ako
kasi nga,
naman,
ikaw nagsasabi,
I
malakas.
really try to research kung ano
Oo. Malakas ka ba kumain, attorney? Are you really...
kumain.
Hindi, kasi ibig sabihin, may tao kasi malakas kumain, maganang kumain, pero hindi naman tumataba, hindi naman lumalaki. Ikaw ba, have you got this very, yung appetite mo, shall we say, huge appetite, or paano? Meron ka ba niya o wala naman?
I think aminado po ako. Yeah, malakas ako. I have a healthy appetite. Malakas po akong very interested sa food. So I get excited with food. Ako yung bata na na-excite sa pagkain.
Bar Mercado, alam mo, attorney, ha? Kita mo naman yun, ha?
Bar Mercado, yep.
Oo.
Been there, always go there. Just straight away from the airport, doon ako pumupunta. So it's the same flight. Around before lunchtime, I'd go straight there, get hang out kung sino may mga dun lang na nagpi-people watch doon. And then a few doors doon, may coffee shop na parang old school. Sarap ng kape.
Oy,
So
ha? Oo.
it's really
RG, ha? Narinig mo, ha? Pagka i-announce mo, attorney, pagpapunta ka ron para mapuntahan ko ni RG, magkita kayo.
Kita tayo, RG. Kita tayo
Oh,
sa
RG,
Bar Mercado.
oh.
Then have coffee after. RG, kita tayo. That would be very good. That
Ang
would
alam
be
ko,
very good.
pinanganak yata sino pangalan itong artista, attorney, yung si Banderas ba? O si Banderas yata. Pinanganak sa area na yun eh. Sa mga Port
Antonio
Banyo.
Banderas?
Antonio Banderas yata, kung di ako nagkakamali, no? Sa area yun, na doon, no? Oo.
Yeah.
Ayan, sumasagot sila. Opo, thank you.
Ka ba?
Ano sabi nito Perla de Guzman? Sabi niya, opo, thank you, sir. And ma'am, so laughing out loud. Sabi niya, ano ba yun? Saan siya bakit kasi yung Perla, pinag-uusapan natin kanina. Tama, no?
Iba yung perla.
Oo, Perla,
yeah.
Perla. Well, yan. So,
Ang
yes,
ko
attorney.
lang, ibibigyan ko lang ng generic dito sa I had a brief glance. I think meron lang tong bagong bill that expands the detention power ng Home Office. What I would suggest is manood ka uli, kababayan, tanong mo si Attorney Lira sa Thursday. She's really best placed to talk about it, and if it's a new law, much more so, you'll also do a favor sa mga kababayan natin na baka naku-curious din kung ano ba to. So do ask Attorney Lira the question on Thursday. But if
So,
you have
Webes.
questions on civil and family, balik ka dito. Huwag ka pa rin dito. Matapos mo manood ng Thursday, balik ka uli dito ng Tuesday. At balik ka din ng Sabado. Actually, bumalik ka araw-araw.
Araw-araw nga pala, pagka Sabado, manood nga pala kayo ng pagka Sabado nga pala, manood kayo ng Sabado Panalo because we're giving away prizes. Attorney, 5,000 na ibibigay natin sa family nila sa Pilipinas. No, so, 5,000 na, magiging 5,000 na. Siguro mga a few muna, tapos sa pagdating ng Pasko siguro mga 3 or 4 na 5,000 pesos pamimigay natin sa mga loved ones ninyo sa Pilipinas. Yung mga recipients ninyo. Ayan. So, okay, ayan, pagkain na, napunta tayo sa pagkain, napunta na ho tayo sa kung saan mga bagay. Pero yun nga, si Attorney Lira has concentrated on just the immigration. Si Attorney Dana marami malawak litigation, and it encompasses many mga branches of the law para ilan ba? For example, sa utang, sa mana, ayan, family, yung mga divorce, hawak mo yan, di ba, attorney? So kung nais ninyo, meron kayong mga problema at kailangan nyo ng mismong abogadong makaka-relate kayo at maintindihan yung pagpapaliwanag nyo. Oo. Ayan, yung mga past tense, future tense, tsaka yung mga ano nyo, mga present tense wala kayong problemahin. At least tatanong nyo, attorney, ano ba maganda? Ano ba
walang
dapat kong
problema
gawin?
yun. Tagalog tayo.
Oo, yan,
Tagalog
oo.
tayo. So yes, it's a fairly broad practice yung practice ko. So I do civil, lahat kontrata, employment, personal injury, mana, also on the family side, which is divorces, children contact arrangement, financial side ng divorce, prenup, the prenuptial agreement as well. Or kung hindi kayo kasal, we call it cohabitation. So yung mga iba din yung ano niyan, iba din yung law dyan. So it's quite broad. So if ever may question kayo or question yung kaibigan nyo, kamag-anak nyo, kapitbahay nyo, do ask here at Legal Advice Corner, or you can email me at d.tinto@ddsolicitors.com or phone me at 01234-225-188. If you can't get through, wag mahiya, email pa rin, so we can get back to you with yung impormasyon doon para mabigyan agad kayo ng generic advice or specific advice if you give enough information about your case. So do that. Make general knowledge also immigration. However, really go to a specialist. That's what we all say. In the same vein, if a non-litigation specialist gets a litigation question, normally they would point them to us. So ganun kami, may mga specialization kami. Katulad din ng mga doktor. Kumbaga, may ibibigay mo yung you can answer generically, but really it is best at mas wise na ibigay kung sino yung nagsispecialize in that particular field.
Oh, kung may problema sa cancer, hindi ka pwede pumunta sa pediatrician, di ba? Malayo. Diba?
That is true. Exactly.
Yun. So, ganun
That
din.
is
So,
true.
meron din mga linya-linya mo
And then,
talaga, no? Pag hindi masyadong specialization. Pati nga broadcasters
we'll give them
din
enough para meron silang guidance. We'll give them enough para may guidance sila until they're able to seek the particular
Right.
advice that they need. So it's not a problem.
Okay. Ito, kaibigan ko to sa Pilipinas, si Lou Ariola. Babati sa atin. Lou, mabuhay ka, no? Nasa Pilipinas. Anong oras na ba sa Pilipinas, attorney? Bale, magsi 6 o'clock in the morning, no? Tama?
Ano ba?
Yeah, si Lou Ariola. Yes.
Opo.
Oo. Ayan, Lou, mabuhay, ha? Mabuhay. You take care. Ito,
Mabuhay,
best
Lou.
friend ni...
Good morning.
Ito, mga kasamahan ni Sol kasi, these were her mga workmates from 20-30 years ago, no? Ayan, sila Lou Ariola, oo. I think nag-handle yata si Lou ng one of the resorts in the Philippines, no? So, Lou, mabuhay, ha? Thanks for watching, ha?
Mabuhay.
Mabuhay.
Lou. Keep
Okay.
safe.
Okay. Tori, teka muna. May nabanggit ka yung mga people who are cohabiting or living in, sabihin na natin, o magkasama. Yan ba may mga rights din ba yan o wala nang rights na ano? Meron bang when I remember when I handled the case, hindi naman handled nung si one of the younger brother of the husband of Gloria Arroyo, si Mike Arroyo may younger brother, congressman, at he died here. And he was actually with his parang live-in partner nun, yung artista, asawa ni ex ni Gabby Concepcion, si pangalan nun, yung ano pangalan ng babae nung naging artista rin ba yun? Si Grace Ibuna. Grace Ibuna.
Oh, okay. I think, yeah.
Naging ex ni Gabby yun. Alam ko parang may anak yata si Gabby din kay Grace Ibuna.
I think it's
Anyway, ang rule dito ng law yata dito, nagkaroon parang ng right kasi may wife siya, si Aleli from the Philippines who came over, syempre dahil congressman tapos wife talaga siya, kino-ordinate sa embassy, dumating. Ginawa ni pinahold ni pangalan to, ni Grace Ibuna because ang parang rule yata dito sa, I don't know kung sabi mo kung totoo hindi, no? Kung tama, because parang nag-gather namin ni Rosie Clarinel na kaibigan natin sa when she was ABS-CBN pa naman siya. Na pagka 3 years at least nagsama na kayo o magano kayo, parang meron ng konting right yata ganon because pinahold niya hindi dumating yung wife kasama yung abogadang yung matapang na abogada, no, parang lalaking tingnan pangalan nun, Buti ikaw, attorney, hindi ka napunta dyan sa mga criminal, no? Kasi kung criminal ka, titigas sa mukha mo eh. Hindi, parang, ang nakikita ko, hindi, natitikita ko sa mga abogado na mga kaibigan ko sa Pilipinas, nag-iiba itsura nila, nag-iiba aura nila eh. Nagiging parang tough na, ano, oo. So anyway, so yun, si pangalan to, yan, magandang discuss siguro yan. Yung, ano ba, may rights ba mga nagli-live-in, magkasama? Ano ba, nakakapag-claim ba yan, kunyari, or anything? Ano ba meron dyan?
I'll touch upon that briefly because that's a huge topic on its own.
Oh, so
But I'll
next
touch upon that parang teaser lang.
Teaser. Para tayong trailer, may teaser pa. Okay. Sige.
Trailer, teaser lang. 2 areas of law ang pwedeng, kumbaga, dorm ng isang, how would you say it? Cohabitee yung term namin, a cohabitee. Na whether or not kabit or whatever or partner sila, a cohabitee can have, kung namatay na under the probate, kung namatay yung partner mo and hindi ka nagkaroon ng reasonable provision and you are being maintained. Ang time period is like for the last 2 years. I'm not sure about your 3 years. I haven't heard sa case law in 2 years. For the last 2 years, na nag-assume ng responsibility yung namatay sa'yo and wala ka sa will, you can apply to apply to the court to make reasonable provision sa'yo kahit wala doon. The reason being is that the evidence shows na nag-assume ng responsibility yung namatay sa'yo. That's under probate. That's what we call is Inheritance Provision for Dependents Act 1970. For me personally, it's one of my favorite piece of law. It's one of my favorite litigation ever. So I would be very excited to talk about that. Now, that's the situation nung namatay na. If buhay pa kayong dalawa, na you're cohabiting, hindi kayo kasal, and you've accumulated, you live together for a very long time under one home, and you allege may isang tao na it's okay kung pareho kayong nasa title, but kung isang tao wala sa title, however, iba yung napag-usapan nyo and meron kayong express intention for the other person to have an interest sa property, there is a possible way for that person, for that partner, to have an interest kung meron siyang claim doon. However, it's very hard compared to divorce. We call it TOLATA, Trust of Land and Appointees, Trust of Land, TOLATA case, Trustee of Land and Appointees.
Attorney, mahaba na yata yung ano mo, ha? Okay lang teaser mo. Pero very interesting yan, ha? We can touch on that.
So the teaser is 2 cases. There are 2 particular instances kung buhay
Dead and non-dead.
So
buhay pa tayo.
Dead and not
Ayan,
dead. Mag-aaway ba kayo ng partner mo o kakaawayin mo ba yung pamilya niya? So that's quite interesting.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yan, cohabiting pa.
That one was in provision for dependents. What happened there was, I think that was an Inheritance Act 1975 claim. The reason being is yung 3 years. I think that's the point of reference for saying they assume responsibility for the last 3 years, and therefore I wasn't given enough reasonable provision, and this is my reasonable provision itong bahay sa UK. I think reading between the lines, that was the argument that was used.
Attorney, may teaser na question bago baka pwedeng in future natin pag-usapan. Hindi, ito, meron akong isang, hindi ko nababanggitin, baka nanonood yan. One of my avid viewers and listeners noong araw, well, up to now naman, kaibigan natin. We eventually became friends with her, and we've met her in many barrio fiestas. Malapit sa, ako si ano nga pala, ganun. But I have this a viewer, a listener before, who was married to a British guy, pero merong siya mga children. But anyway, what the children, she was now living in the house where kung saan namatay yung husband, yung property nila. Ang ginagawa, hinaharas siya, tinatakot. Sa gabi nga, alam mo, naglo-live ako ng show, sa gabi, dinidescribe niya kung paano yung kaba niya, kasi baka may kumakatok, yung talagang paranoid na siya. And she was really watching the program and telling us yung kanyang fears, yung kanyang, minsan maiiyak, ganyan, no? O maano siya. Inaaharas siya ngayon. Siya pa, ano ba, parang, shouldn't she give up? Although tapos na to, parang shouldn't she give up? Because iiwanan niya na yung property lang, parang matakot ka lang, sige na, iwanan ko na lang sa kanila, or pwede niya ilaban sa batas ba yun na, yung kanyang sa house or share or anything? Kasi parang tinatakot siya, just parang umalis na lang, para i-give up yung property, yung bahay, ganon. So, eventually, I think umalis siya, pero pwede ba niya ipaglaban yun kung sakasakali talaga? Wag na naman muna tayo pag-usapan.
The first question.
First question mo, ano ko?
No, the first question is teaser question. The first question is ano ba yung basis ng occupation niya sa property? Has she got what we call a life interest lang, that she has the property throughout her life at hindi niya own yun? Because that could be paano yung provision ng will, or outright kanya yung property. So
baka sa will ba? Ganun ba? Baka sa will?
I mean, the question is, patay na. What you're saying to me is namatay yung husband and she's still living there. So we need to know what's her basis of occupation for living there. Ano ba yung nakalagay sa will? Kasi kung she was not provided, not given reasonable provision sa will, she could say, well, I want more because I'm the wife and I wasn't given enough, and under Inheritance Act 1975, I have a chance to ask for more. So that's the first question. Kailangan mo alamin, ano ba yung binigay sa kanya sa will? Was it enough? And ano yung occupation, ano yung basis ng occupation niya under that property? Kanino yung property and ano yung basis niya doon? Now that is separate. That's the long-term issue, long-term problem and long-term issue. The first issue na nasa harap niya, the imminent issue talaga, is harassment. That you can't really may solusyon yung problema ng harassment without giving up yung other issue, no property. What you can do is call a police and say you're being harassed, failing which you can ask a civil lawyer, a civil solicitor, a civil lawyer like me to send a anti-harassment letter, cease and desist letter, saying stop harassing my client, stop turning up, stop this course of conduct which is meant to harass my client, failing which we will apply to the court for an injunction. So hindi naman yun yung bargaining position na stop my harass, because that's blackmail. That is blackmail. So you have to address the imminent problem first. The imminent problem is stop the harassment. Once na-depressurize mo na yung situation, that client can have some peace of mind to think about the longer problem, which is ano ba yung issue ng bahay na to? And paano ka magpo-push back sa tao na to to say, hang on a minute, you're wanting me to leave, but actually I don't need to leave because of this, and that, and I have a right to be here because of this, and that. So you would have to deconstruct the problem. Hanapin mo yung ano yung pinaka nasa harap mo na problema. How do you solve that first, so that it allows you the breathing space, it allows you time and effort to solve the bigger issue.
Ayun, no? Dapat na, parang pag-ibig nga, attorney, ba't ngayon ka lang dumating sa buhay namin, parang ganyan, sa mga tao, no? Dahil kung yan, meron na tayong legal advice corner, nako, malakas ang loob nitong ating kaibigan, no? Na 'di ba? Harapin 'yan. 'Di ba?
Exactly.
Iba yung harassment Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just gonna add to that. That's the reason we lawyers, we're at least I'd like to think so, na hindi lang kami mag-guide sa inyo ng academic na solusyon kung ano yung sinasabi ng korte. We also really need to give you the practical advice. Ito yung academic advice. This is my academic advice. This is my practical problem-solving advice. So ito yung problema mo. Actually, dalawa yung problema mo. And you don't need to solve two problems with one solution. You can solve those two problems with two different solutions. So that's really the job here, is to really say to the client, have you thought about this? Would you like to do this? And I'd like you to be informed while you're thinking about that, so that pag naisip mo na yung mga solution mo, and I laid it out to you, I laid out the pros and cons, you can make a decision. Not me, but you can make a decision. At the end of the day, ikaw yung boss, we're just hired help, and you're there to we're here to empower you to make the best decision for each situation. Hindi lang kami taga-recite back ng academic facts. So you can see from that case, I could have recited one academic note, but then we turned that principle into a problem-solving advice. So most importantly, at the end of the day, we really have to show the client isang ruta papunta kung paano masolba yung problema na hindi lang to have an interpretation of the law.
Attorney, quick question lang, parang teaser, diba? Hindi tayo matapos sa kaka-teaser natin, no? Pero, for example, attorney, ang mga wills ba, namatay, in this case, namatay ang asawa, no? Yung pinay, yung asawa, yung ating kaibigan. Ano ba yan? Ang will ba, binabasa na yan, soonish yan, diba? Within the next 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Wala namang will na babasahin na 2 years after or 1 year after the death.
Sometimes
Sometimes din, may ganun din.
May nagtatago, and lawyers would have to find it, would have to pressure the other side to produce it. Sometimes, pwede mo siyang mahanap sa will database kung kumuha na sila ng probate, and there's a will database. If not, malalaman mo naman malalaman naman niya sa pamilya kung sino yung may hawak ng will. So kung ayaw nila pabasa, and that has happened to one of my cases, we lawyers get very, very, very
demanding by way of letter. Upset.
Yeah,
Okay.
Letter, and isa-stop namin sila. We could put a caveat na hindi nila ma-applyan yung probate. So they can't do anything with the will anyway. So sasabihin namin, you're misbehaving. You're not giving us the will. Why are you not giving us the will? We may produce. The situation.
Attorney, wala ka saglit, no? Kung ayaw mo i-produce, parang nagagalit ka. You have to, di ba? Kung ayaw mo i-produce,
we call a pre-action disclosure request. Or large moves. We can ask questions. May mga issues. And if they don't produce it, the court will not look at them favorably.
Ako to, si Edgar Duway talaga, sabi ni Edgar Duway. Attorney DQ, can you please include one day sa mga topics mo about what happened to the movie? It could happen to you in reference to UK law. Like, do I have a right to give a huge amount of money to a friend without asking my wife's permission? Thank you. Ito. Ayan. In reference, okay, do I have the right to give a huge amount of money to a friend without asking my magbibigay ka something tapos parang without no, baka pag sobrang laki siguro pwede mo tawag dito yung mga heirs mo, no, baka maano mo, hindi kaya ganun. But anyway, next time sabi ni Edgar Duway, tumpak ka legendary SL kung dati pang may legally yours, divorce na ako ngayon. Laughing out loud. Kala ko di kami pwedeng mag-divorce dito. Okay. Uy, sabi ni Yvonne Celestial Palsis Laluna, hi Dana, ang galing. Ang galing. Ito, sabi niya, yan. Hi Dana.
Sige. Hello po.
Oh, kilala mo to? Hindi.
Apo, kilala ko po. Opo, taga sa amin po. Hello.
Sa amin sa Pilipinas?
Apo, sa Pilipinas po. Sa Pilipinas.
Ay, mabuhay ha. Yvonne, haba na pangalan niya. Yvonne Celestial Palsis Palsis Laluna. Ayan, Laluna.
Yeah.
Laluna, mabuhay. Ay, may artista nung araw, mga 70s.
Mabuhay.
70s naman, si Yvonne. Oo.
Yvonne. Ganda ng pangalan, Yvonne.
Yvonne, pahanap niyo yun kung ano, Yvonne. Kaya ayoko nang banggitin ko. Kayo na lang, pahanap po. Tita mo ba? Tita, Auntie Yvonne, ha? Hanapin mo si Yvonne. May artista ng mga 70s o late 60s yata, 70s. Hindi ko na babanggitin kung bakit, no? Pero hanapin mo si Yvonne. Yan, first name kasi nung araw yun, si Yvonne.
Ito na naman ba tayo?
Puro sa gabi ito, puro nagsimula nang nagtanong kung related ka ba kay, ano pangalan ng artista, attorney? Si Rufa May.
May
Quinto, di ba? So, Rufa May Quinto, no? Sabi mo, baka hindi, dahil taga Pampanga. Baka, who knows, no? Okay, ayan. Okay.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah,
who knows, di ba? Hindi natin masasabi. Anyway, well, I guess magpapaalam na tayo at napasarap yung kwentuhan natin. Alam mo, pag si attorney kausap ninyo, maski talagang Ayan, kamukha ng mga pagkaing la merkado. Merkado ano? Merkado bar ba yan? Bar merkado?
Bar Mercado.
Oo, mahanapin ko yan.
It's really good.
Hindi kasi ako
It's
nagtagal sa
really
Malaga,
good.
attorney. Oo, I drive kasi. Ang problema ko, when I am driving in a place na hindi ko kabisado, na kinakabahan ako, na naalangan ako kasi kalsada, hindi mo alam kung turn left o ano, no? Lalo na sa
Magkaiba pa,
Barcelona.
diba? Yeah, exactly.
Oo, sa
Yeah.
Barcelona, tumataas ang ano ko ron, ang blood pressure ko.
Sa presyon.
Hindi, oo, pati pag
Never
nag-drive ka
seen
sa
that
city,
story.
attorney, ha? Pag nag-drive ka sa city kasi mahirap parang hindi mo kabisado yung kalsada di ba? Dito, nag-drive ka sa right, yung right hand pagdating doon, nasa kaliwa ka naman, di ba?
Yeah.
Pabago-bago ang kalsada. So, yun. Ayun. Okay. Attorney, naku, napasarap na naman tayo ng usapan. Ikaw, nag-worry sila sa'yo dahil malapit lang yung ano mo, di ba, maglalakad ka gabi pa, no? So, kailangan ingat
One
lang.
minute lang. 1 minute,
Oh, 1 minute lang. 1 minute lang.
Nauna na naman yung cleaner, Mr. Laragan.
Oo nga. Sabihin mo sa bawasan ng sweldo na dahil hindi nalinis yung lugar mo. Yung part mo. 'Di ba? Every Tuesday.
Ako dito, eh.
Pero at least nalalaman niya na, uy, sipag naman ito. Sabi siguro mamaya pag ilang taon na ba yan? May mga 50, 40, ilang taon na yung cleaner mo?
Hindi po. Mga bata pa rin. 30, 40.
Akala ko may anak na siya.
Pinapauwi nga po ako ng cleaner dito. Sabi niya, bakit nandito ka pa? Di ka pa ba umuwi?
Oo nga.
yung isang cleaner, pag nakikita ko, anong oras na? Parang nanay ako, anong oras na? Di ka pa ba umuwi? Anong oras ba start ng shift mo? Isang beses, tinanong ako.
Oo.
Anong oras na start ng shift?
Sana sinabi mo, ako, lawyer ako, hindi ako nurse. Kasi sa nurse, may shift, may kausap ako. Anong shift? May ako, morning ako, afternoon shift. Ganun ba? May mga shifting pala. May pag natapos na shift na afternoon, ang tapos niya 10:30 ng gabi. So meron palang morning, may evening. Hindi, ikaw, overtime na yan. Talagang, di ba? Uy, siya nga pala mga kaibigan, no? Baka akala nyo kung sino lang itong kausap natin. Ito ho ang partner ho ng Deo Volente Solicitors, no? Head ng litigation and at the same time, partner, no? So, mga 3 months ago, 4 months ago yan, attorney. When you were elevated or promoted as partner.
Yeah, about 6 months ago na.
6 months ago na ba yun? Ganun na ba katagal yun?
6 or 7 months na.
Wow.
6 or 7 months ago.
Ayan hindi ho basta-basta to. Kala niya pag tinignan niyo to, mukhang batang-bata, hindi ho. Ayun, naalala ko yung artista, attorney, yung artistang kamukha mo doon sa Toy Boy. Kamukha mo in the sense na batang-bata. Ang pangalan niya, Maria Pedraza. I-google niyo. Maganda si Maria Pedraza. Pedraza. Mamaya, iyan mo. Toy Boy, siyang sayang, medyo, wag niyo na panoorin, baka maiyak kayo, malungkot kayo.
Ay, ganun.
Oo, kasi,
Next week, mag-movie review tayo.
Mag-movie review tayo. Mag-review tayo para sa ating Okay. Attorney, sige, baka meron ka mga gusto pang may mga shout out ka or gusto mo pang sabihin pang messages, go right ahead. Tayo magpapaalam na. Sige.
I just want to say maraming salamat mo for tuning in, for always coming here. Tuloy po kayo every Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. And thank you for always supporting me and Mr. Laragan. Sa lahat ng mga taga-UK who's also coming out of the lockdown in a few hours, still keep safe. And it's December 1, so I think it's fair to say Merry Christmas. Start ng Merry Christmas. So keep safe, keep happy, keep choosing to be happy. As what Edgardo Cagacian says, Happy Tuesday. And thank you, Mr. Laragan. Hindi lang ako ang nagbibigay ng smile, pati kayo din. So maraming salamat, Mr. Laragan.
Attorney, pasensya ka na. Meron ka ba isang minute na lang? Ito kasi hindi natin mahindian to. Mahal na mahal tayo si Emeline Rafael. Isang tanong lang, mabilis lang. Ako, alam mo, love na love natin to. May tanong ako, Attorney Dana, may kaibigan ako na namatay siya, yung babae dito, at yung asawa niya ay umuwi sa Pinas na at nabalita namin na ng asawa na yung lalaki sa Pinas. Pero hindi pa niya alam na namatay na yung babae, na may karapatan pa ba yung lalaki sa mga sa mga naiwan ng babae? May habol pa ba siya sa mga naiwan niya? Pero gusto mo next na?
No. I'm gonna answer very quickly. So again, we would go back sa ng korte na ano ba yung nakalagay sa will. ng person na to. And if conduct, again, meron nito, if conduct is an issue, if conduct is an, meron din to sa Inheritance Act 1975 or sa ano. However, pag nakikita mo nga, hindi nila ginagawa yung law to punish, to become a moral punishment. Hindi dito sa UK. Just because, so hindi natin, you have to prove na kailan niya ba, may concubinage ba na nangyari, may ganun ba na nangyari to make it so inequitable for him to receive the will. My gut feeling, because we only have general information, my gut feeling, it's gonna be a hard situation kasi hindi niya naman dinefraud yung will, hindi niya naman dinefraud yung pagbigay sa kanya ng will ng asawa. If yung asawa na namatay, alam na separated na sila at sa kanya, hindi pa rin niya change yung will niya. Unfortunately, yun ang epekto, yun ang consequences. However, if someone's going to say na, if you're gonna put it in a divorce setting, and this is a situation as well, na kumbaga may concubinage na nangyari, right, na whether or not ma-prove man yan or hindi, if na-prove yan, remember yung formula natin earlier, magbibigay pa rin yung korte ng weight, no weight, little weight, or big weight in order to move the award. And sometimes, a court might say, well, actually, pareho nyo namang alam eh. You kind of accepted it. And hindi niya change yung will niya, so maybe there's a reason for that. So you ask those questions. It's not an automatic, ay, dahil ganun yung nangyari, it's gonna completely invalidate someone's
right
gift or
to-
testamentary
Oh.
right. Even
To
sa
allow.
divorce, and this is the divorce, even sa divorce, concubinage dito, yes, they will make a finding, but whether or not it will move the award, as I've said kanina, it's very, very hard, inequitable conduct. So nakita mo, it's not just because masama yung ugali, naging salbahe a little bit, but it's a very high standard. So you can say that to your friend.
Palagi ko, yung mga ganito mga last minute na tanong, pagbayaran natin ng merienda sa atin dalawa, no? I-treat tayo sa dinner. o kaya bayaran nila yung security mo, no? Yung bodyguard mo na mag-escort sa'yo papunta pa uwi sa bahay, no? Di ba? Ikaw Emily, na grabe. Parang baka mamaya parang ka si Rita Ora, magpa-party ka, so sorry ka, no? Kaya talaga, oo. Birthday party ni Rita Ora kasi, di ba, si Rita Ora ay singer, artista singer. Nag-party, o merong 30, ilang taon na siya. Anyway, tapos nag-sorry, no? But anyway, yeah, okay lang yan, Emeline. Kaya namin binigyan ng daan yan kasi love na love ka namin at saka alam kong love na love mo rin kami, no? Pero meron kang utang na merienda o dinner sa amin ni Attorney Dana, no? Hindi, okay lang yan. Alright, sana baka galit siya doon sa asawa nung yung lalaki. Galit na galit si Emeline siguro, gigigil siya. Sabi niya sa mga kakumare niya, shh, huwag niyo sabihin na matay, ha? Shh, huwag niyo sabihin, ha? Hindi nga niya sinasabi. Okay, I guess it's time for us to say goodbye, you know? Magpapaalam na ho kami ngayon. Ayan, I hope you had a wonderful, happy Tuesday with us. Siyempre, coupled with the information that you got. No? Seryoso sa informasyon si attorney. Habang tinatalakay niya, talagang dinidiscuss niya para siyang professor na talagang seryoso. Pero pagka mga ibang bagay tungkol sa bar mercado, Churrosco ba yan? Ano pangalan? El Choro? Ano pangalan lugar na yun?
El Choro.
El Choro, ayan. Mukhang Google ko yan. Hindi ko napuntahan niya, attorney.
Toy boy mo. Yung toy boy.
Hindi, Toy Boy, nag-enjoy kasi ako. 13 episodes yon. Si Hugo. Yung lead character at saka yung abogada si Triana. Triana yung pangalan ng abogada, si Maria Pedraza. Triana pangalan niya. Ang pangalan naman nung parang sugar mommy o naging parang ka-affair niya na may edad, ang pangalan niya si Macarena. Ayan, Macarena. Alam mo pala sa Spain, ang dami ko napapanood, puro Macarena pangalan. Meron ako napanood na yung nakulong siya. Macarena pangalan. Meron Macarena. Tapos Macarena na naman. Sabi ko,
may sayaw nun, di ba?
yun nga, it's a very common name yata sa America, sa Spain. Yung Macarena, yung sikat na Macarena. Tan-tararan, tararan, tararan, tan-tararan. Di ba, Macarena? Macarena.
Kasi ganun pa, no?
Yun na yun. Akala ko kanta lang yon. Yung pala, pangalan pala ng babae. Well, pangalan ng ano.
Pangalan pala.
Very common sa Spain. Okay, nako. Attorney, maraming salamat. As always, we're so honored and proud to have you, syempre dito, giving legal advice. Ikaw ang abogada. Ay, may bansa kay attorney, abogada ng bayan ng mga Pilipino rito, no? Yan. She's the lawyer. Kaya pagka eventually napunta kayo sa mayroon kayong problema or anything about the law, then you have your lawyer na. Kaysa mapunta pa kayo sa iba, no? Ito na, Pilipino. Okay, so sa ngalan ni attorney, ako po si Sunny Laraga nagsasabing maraming salamat po sa inyong pagsubaybay dito sa Legal Advice Corner by making it a happy Tuesday. So let's do it again and let's make it every Tuesday a happy Tuesday. So till Tuesday then, si attorney Dana and me saying, you take care guys and stay safe, God bless, and good night. See you on Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.